What's up, fight fans? And we are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin. And where do all fights start? Round one. We have an amazing show for you here today. Man, let's talk about it. Naoya Inoue and his late replacement, Joon Kim. And man, this man had a lot to say. So without further ado, let's get right back into this episode. What's up, fight fans? And usually on Wednesdays, I be having like Latin Wednesdays and stuff. I had a lot of things to do, so we're gonna catch up on that tomorrow. And we're gonna address this Naoya in a way because the fight is coming up close. We're like days away out from the fight. It's I believe Friday. So so I went and I checked out the pre-press conference there before the fight. And Naoya in a way, he gets up there, he's being himself. He's at home, he's in Japan, he's the undisputed champion of the world. You know, he needs no introduction, right? Okay. And throughout the course of history, it's a well-known fact that Japan and Korea have had a rich rivalry in boxing. Throughout many epic battles, Korea has come up on one on Japan, Japan up one on Korea, and so forth and so forth. But now we have entered a new era, and Japan is currently riding on a high. Why shouldn't they? They have the greatest talent, I believe, in all of boxing we have today. Naoya Inoue is truly a special fighter. I believe he's your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. And when you hear a lot of legends and current fighters talk about Naoya Inoue, such as Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, Tim Bradley, just to name a few, Manny Pacquiao, um, Tank Davis, a lot of fighters that appreciate the sweet science and what Naoya Inoue is doing, they truly recognize that. Iron Mike Tyson is on a podcast saying, "You want to see a real monster?" And this is coming from Iron Mike Tyson, one of the most frightening men on planet Earth. I didn't say he was the toughest, one of the most frightening. And he's recognizing the talent that Naoya Inoue is. Naoya Inoue is coming into this fight 28-25, undisputed champion. And let's just keep this in mind. Since entering the 122-pound weight division, he's fought 4 world champions. I repeat, his last 4 fights were all world champions. Stephen Kubo Fulton had 2 belts. He was a world champion. Marlon Tapales had 2 belts. He was a world champion. Luis Pantera Nari was a world champion before. When you fight him, and if he had lost his world title coming into the fight, on the record books, Naoya Inoue goes down on record for fighting a former world champion. TJ Doheny was a former world champion. So that's 4 world champions he's fought since he's been in the division. It's not like some people try to give Tank Davis credit for fighting Isaac Pitbull Cruz because later he went on to become a world champion. But you can't get credit for that because when you fought him, he wasn't champion yet. All the champions that Mayweather fought and that he's getting credit for, not all of them came into the fight with the belt. They challenged Mayweather, and in their career, at some point, they had successfully acquired a world championship. Whether they had it or lost it, when you come in to fight them, you get credit for fighting a world champion. That's how it goes. Naoya Inoue has fought 4 world champions entering 122 in a row. The only one that he's going to fight that doesn't have a belt or wasn't a former world champion is this guy, Joon Kim. And boy, did he have a lot to say. My man is full of confidence. He's sitting up there acting like Naoya Inoue in his camp fucked up. That's how he's talking. Yo, my man got up there and he said, listen, I've been training since January. They already gave me the heads up. I was on standby. So training ain't no factor. He said, I've been training my whole life, anticipating fighting Naoya Inoue. He said, I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Hold on. Hold on. He might have to hold on, right? So he was like, yo, listen. He said his style is going to knock out Naoya Inoue. I was like, no, he did not just say that. My man said he is going to stop Naoya Inoue. He said he's been studying him for quite some time. He didn't think that he was going to get the match like this, but he was like, maybe one day we might collide. He knew he had a lot of work to do. But see what happens when opportunity comes a knocking? That's 10 days, 14 days. What was it? 13, what was it? Yeah, hello? Naoya Inoue, can you make the fight? You're damn right I'm making a fight. Now I'm upping my jogging regimen. What concerns me is when he said that he was jogging, he got the phone call. He was saying that he was training for an 8-round fight. Now that right there, I was like, So you're training for an 8-round fight. I'm not saying it can't be done because these guys that train for 8-round fights typically will spar 12 rounds in the gym to prepare for an 8-round fight. You might have to increase your intensity. Now, championship experience, the fight goes into the later rounds. I think that favors Naoya Inoue. He would have to get there first. Okay, I haven't seen a lot of this kid, right? We can put up their records. Yeah, we could definitely talk about this, right? Let me see right now. Hold on. Let me catch up to you guys in the chat here. Let me read y'all messages. Yeah, their rivalry, even in baseball. Yeah, Lloyd. Yep. What's up, Lloyd? How you doing? Front line in the building. Crypto, only 2 invites, be champions in 3 years. What? Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna do. I'm gonna answer some of your questions, crypto. All you guys, let me just put this up so I can screen share. Here's my man right here. This is Naoya Inoue's new opponent, and he comes in with a record of 21-13. He has 2 losses, but he has never been knocked out. Okay. He has 25 bouts. He has 158 boxing round experience. He has a 61% knockout ratio. He is 32 years old, South Korean. Okay. He's 5'4". It says he's 5'4". Doesn't have a reach on him, so we'll go from here. All right. He lost his second professional fight to a man that was 2-0. This guy. Let's see what he's currently doing today. He has an 11-4 record, 4 losses. He's got stopped one time. He's gone 12 rounds experience, even 10. But when he fought him, it was early in his career. They went 4 rounds. He won in a unanimous decision against Kim. So that's Kim still right there. That's his first loss. I don't really recognize. No name is really popping out on the paper. I think that's a different one. Well, this is his record right here. If you are more familiar than the fighters than I am, then this is his record. We're not hiding here at nothing here at Round One Sports Talk. We bring it to you straight up. We all know the disadvantage in this fight. We also know that this is a late replacement fight. I love the fact that the gentleman that's coming into the fight, they went and picked somebody that's willing to fight Naoya Inoue. He doesn't sound at all intimidated or that the moment's too big for him. He seems to be up there, calm, cool, and collective. He even gave Naoya Inoue, when they shook hands, he walked away and gave that smirk. Like, bro, you're done, son. Like, his confidence is through the roof right now. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him and I'm just saying to myself, yeah, you could have all the confidence in the world. All the fighters that came into a fight against Naoya Inoue had a lot of confidence. They also said they had a lot to say about him, whether in his appearance. They said he looked like he was in a boy band. They said a lot about Naoya Inoue. But what do they say about him after the fight? I know what they can't say, that they beat him. I know they can't say that, though. That's all they can talk a lot of shit. They just can't say they beat him. So Naoya, listen, this guy gets up on that podium. It's the biggest opportunity of his life. And he ain't just fighting no regular fighter. He's fighting this man, Naoya Inoue. This guy right here has really done some special stuff in the sport of boxing today. In our current era, he is the second man to unify all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions. Naoya Inoue is doing some remarkable stuff. And if you want, well, not if you want, I'll take you with me. And we'll walk down Naoya Inoue's record real quick. Just in case you're not familiar with who this man is and what he has accomplished in his career. Mind you, BoxRec has been going through their little problems with the WBA. The WBA World Championships are not registered on BoxRec. You will notice he's going to have 3 belts, but just fill in the WBA in your head, because there's more slots for it. Okay. Real quick now, he has 28 bouts, 169 rounds boxing experience. I believe he should have a 90% knockout ratio. He's 5'5". He has a 67-inch arm reach. He is 31 years old, and he is Japanese. Mr. Naoya Inoue has never, ever basically had any tune-up fights in his career. Naoya Inoue came out the gate right away fighting 8-round fights, as you can see right here. A scheduled 8-rounder, he stopped them in the 4th round. He never had a 4-round fight. He never had a 6-round fight. He had 2 8-round fights and 2 10-round fights. That's 4 fights. From there, he started fighting 12-round fights. That was it. He went 12 rounds from this point in his career. The only 4 fights he did not go 12 rounds are the first 4 fights in his career. He doesn't have your typical guy that has like 16 fights, uh, 16 fights before he's even out of 10-round fights. Right away out the gate, he's already jumped up to 12-round fights. He fought Adrian Hernandez for his first official world title at 108 pounds, right? Right here. That is a real world championship. You see these trophies right here? It says Oriental Pacific Boxing Federation Light Fly right here. That's a good award belt, not considered a world championship. The Japanese boxing, those are not belts, but very prestigious awards for your young fighter coming up. If he can get at least that, you see that he's headed in the right direction. So his first official world championship was right here. And I believe it was his 6th professional fight. Right? Okay. From this moment on, he has not stopped fighting for world championships consecutively in a row. You can count them with me. Okay. That's one. Look at, well, we'll go back up. Remember, Adrian Hernandez. Let me break down his record first, right? Okay. At this point, do you notice one thing here at 108? He won the belt. He fought one more fight, right? Defended the belt, right? And then what is this next fight? 115 pounds. But you just fought at 107. 115. He jumped 2 weight divisions. And what did he do? He fought the current world champion that came into the fight against Naoya Inoue 43-1. That one loss that this gentleman lost to, he lost to Flash Nonito Donaire, the Hall of Famer, 4-division world champion. That's the fighter he only lost to. And Nonito Donaire went 12 rounds with him. He couldn't stop him. Now, mind you, here's this kid jumping up 2 divisions, right? Well, not 2 divisions. He's jumping 1 division and entering a second one. It's not like like Crawford going to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez. He's jumping up. That's actually 2 divisions. He's going from the 107 by the 112 into the 115. It's still 2 divisions though. Terrence is basically 3 then, right? So he makes the jump. Look at the stakes, people. The reason why I break that down is that gentleman right there has never been knocked out in his career. He went 12 rounds with the Hall of Famer Nonito Donaire. And there's this kid jumping up past the weight division, challenging you for your belt. And guess what? He only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 professional fights. Coming into your fight, that will be his 8th professional fight. If I was looking at my manager, I'd be like, is this a joke? Are you punking me? You're telling me that a guy's jumping up past the weight division on his first try, right away fighting me that I have 43 professional fights. I ain't never been knocked out. He has how many fights? 7 fights. He's how old? Turning 20 years old. He came from 108. I'm the much bigger guy. I got 43 rounds experience on him. Sign up to fight. How did my man do against Naoya Inoue? With having only 7 professional fights, the fight was scheduled a 12-round fight. He knocked him out in the 2nd round. He ain't never been dropped in his career. He ain't never been knocked out. 43 professional fights. Straight gladiator. Was the champion for 4 years in that division. This kid, 19-year-old kid, I think he turned 20 before he came into this fight, right? With 7 professional fights? Are you kidding me? Are you serious right now? He's a baby. I'm a grown ass man. Oh, yeah, I'll take this fight. Bro, he got broke. He got rocked, right? Listen, then Naoya Inoue, look, now mind you, you see these little trophies, right, guys? Pay attention to the trophies. You're going to notice they never break. For an example, I'm going to show you, I'm going to put them up against one of our legends later in the show, and I'm going to show you what I mean by consecutive and no break, and what it means when champions embellish a little bit their championship run. I'm going to put them up against a legend. Just wait. Stay with me. So you notice these trophies are not breaking. That means that all those fights are for world titles, right? But not this one. Not that Japan. Don't count from here. Nope. He can't get credit. I'm sorry. He can't get credit for that. The clock starts right here. Hernandez. This is where the clock starts. So it goes boom. We were past this. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go down. Let's continue to go down. Now, this was an American fight right here for the WBO. It was a really good fight. You know what I'm saying? This kid is a tough Puerto Rican kid. I gave him credit, man. He took a lot of punishment for Naoya Inoue, a vicious body assault. It was a great fight, right? So let's keep going down. Now, I want you to pay attention to this right here. And this is where I wanted to get. Since we all were just already talking about he jumped up to the 115 and brutalized that champion in 2 rounds. So let's see what happens after the 115. Here it is. 115 to 118. He makes another jump. By the way, in the 115, he made 7 consecutive world title defenses. He defended that belt 7 times. So he goes up to 118, right? His first fight in 118, right, is McDonald, the European champion that had like 4 years with the belt, 10 years undefeated. I think he lost prior to that, but he hadn't lost in like 10 years. He lost like one time early in his career, I think, right? But he'd never been knocked out. None of that shit. He was much taller. Watch, we're going to check him out. He's right here. Look, from 115 to 118, he's the champion coming into this fight. Let's check him out, right? This is Jamie McDonald. Look, 30. This obviously is his record now. This was not his record coming into the fight. I'll show you that. It has it on BoxRec. It was there, right? But I just want to show you some interesting facts. He was 5'10". He's 5'9.5". Let's give him 5'10". Naoya Inoue is 5'5". He's 5'10". He got a 71-inch arm reach. He had the reach, the height. He got an iron chin. He ain't been dropped. He's been the champion for over 4 years, right? So, he comes into the fight with Naoya Inoue. Let's see how he did against him. Where is he? Right here. He came into the fight 29-2. Let me move this right here. He got knocked out in the first round. Naoya Inoue knocked him out in 1 round. Jumping up a new weight division, challenging the champion, 5'10", longer reach, everything. Never been knocked out in his career. It took him 1 round. I was like, damn, right? It gets impressive, right? He fights Emmanuel Rodriguez. Emmanuel Rodriguez came into that fight 19-0, the IBF champion of the world. A Puerto Rican, upcoming star. He put his belt in the tournament, the prestigious Muhammad Ali trophy. It's the World Series of Boxing. It was the first bantamweight trophy. Not the first trophy, for throughout all the things, but for bantamweights, the first tournament for bantamweights, that was the first one. So Naoya Inoue and Donaire made it to the finals. But when he came up against Emmanuel Rodriguez, he was a tough fighter. And Emmanuel is slick. Y'all seen what he did to that Russell kid. Emmanuel can fight. He's fought a lot of these Japanese dudes, and he's fared well. He just recently lost his belt 2-1. But it was a close fight too. I think Emmanuel did a lot of good work in that fight as well. So, anyway, when he came up against Naoya Inoue, this man has never been knocked out. When you fight a guy that is undefeated and has never been dropped, you're also fighting the fact his confidence is on a high. He doesn't know how to lose. When a man knows how to lose and he's been broken in a fight, it'll be that much more easier to get him to stay down. When a man doesn't know how to lose, listen, this man tried to get up not once but twice, and Naoya Inoue put him down within seconds of him getting up. It was a beautiful performance by Naoya Inoue, well calculated. His distance, his timing on the punch, he didn't rush the punches. The punches landed flush because of the fact that he was in the right position with the right placement. Naoya Inoue is a really skilled fighter with his feet. His feet and his upper half is like kind of like it looks like they're thinking they're in sequence. He fights with a lot with the back heel off the canvas. It's up in the air. He keeps it up, and then he really plants the front of his toes. He digs into the mat with them. With that, it gives him the ability to jar backwards, sideways, and angles. And even if he wants to bend his knees and settle down on a punch, his front foot is solid, and his back foot is off the ground, and it really lets him generate um good movement. He's fast as it is, and it's a lot of fighters talk about the distance that he covers pretty fast on them. They how quick he's up on you. And Naoya Inoue, he he brutalized this man. He goes on to win the whole tournament there, secures the belts. He fights Jason Maloney, the Australian twin brothers, another pair of twin brothers in boxing besides the Charlo twins. They're both decent fighters in their own right. I respect the Maloney brothers because they train hard. They give everything to the sport, but not all the time. You know, you training or there's always that guy that's just better than you. But he's definitely one of the top fighters in the world. Naoya Inoue brutalized that man. When he knocked him out with one of the most highlight reel knockouts. When I saw that in real time, I jumped out of my seat. When I saw that in real time, I was like, "Oh shit!" It was just so smooth. Um, Jason Maloney threw a punch, and Naoya Inoue didn't even flinch. Rather than flinching and losing that motion right there, because in a fight, it's all about who gets to the target first and not wasting any movement, right? If had when Jason Maloney threw that fake jab, if Naoya Inoue would have responded and would have went like this, he wouldn't have been in the right distance to throw that shot. It wouldn't have hit as clean. He had to be where he was at. He threw that punch and he just went like this. He went and just went forward, bam, like that. He cut parts of boxing that typically transpire. And boxers sometimes times that, just like Saul Canelo Alvarez timed Edgar Berlanga. When he threw that jab at Edgar Berlanga went up in the high guard. Edgar Berlanga was going to try to throw his punch. Saul hit him, bow. He timed him. You see? Yo, Naoya Inoue didn't have to do that. He cut movements from typical sequences, and rather than them saying, "Don't do this, don't go like that to block that punch. If it comes, it comes, but stay there and hit." And man, and when he punches strong and like through the target type shit. He's a really strong puncher, man. He really knows how to like shift his weight because he doesn't get a lot of torque on his punches. When he knocked out Luis Pantera Nari, which we're gonna get to, right? And Paul Butler right here is the last person that he beat to obtain the first 4 titles in 118 pounds, right? Where I was coming from with Jason Maloney, that was an 118-pound fight. The Donaire was, you see, all the way from McDonald. So I want you to see and keep track of his 118 fights. Mind you, the cat is out of the bag. He's undefeated, so there's no, suspense here about anybody beating him, right? But there is a little suspense. We'll get right to it, right? So as you can see, he gets here, and this is where he accomplished his first 4 titles. As you can see, they only give him recognition for 3. The WBA is the only one missing. Okay, and I believe in this fight right here, the WBA was also present in this fight. Then he went because when he beat Donaire, I believe he had the remaining 3 in the second Donaire fight. Yes, he did. So a WBA title should be here. Then before Paul Butler unified all 4. Now, see, this is where things get really interesting, and this is where the legends are made. This is where Naoya Inoue made who he is today. I truly believe this. This is where the monster was born. And even though he did all of that into the World Series of Boxing, remarkable stuff, right? This right here is where Naoya Inoue was made. Check this out, people. Follow me on this one. Check it out. He won the last belt off of Paul Butler, 2022, 12-13. 30 days after he beat Paul Butler, he vacated all his belts. He threw him back into the division. He moved up in weight. He fought Stephen Kubo Fulton for the WBC and the WBO, which he was the champion coming into their fight. He was jumping up from 118 pounds to the 122-pound weight division. He was entering his 4th weight division. Okay? Now, when he fought Stephen Kubo Fulton, he fought Stephen Kubo Fulton 2023 725. Right? Okay. I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. Stephen Kubo Fulton 725, July 25th, right? He fought Paul Butler. Stay with me now. 2022, right? Okay. When he went and fought Marlon Tapales, right? 2 belts. He fought Marlon Tapales 2023, 12-26. 2, 4, checkmate. That's all 4 belts at 122 on 2023, 12-26. Wait a minute. He got all 4 belts at 118. That's 2000. That's the date is the 13th. This date is the 26th. So he's actually 13 days he's 1 year and 13 days from unifying 8 belts. The clock starts ticking from Paul Butler. You can't count all this other time he didn't have all 4 belts. It's when you secure the 4 belts. He got them here. He didn't have 4 belts with Donaire his last fight, right? When did he get them? Right here. When's the clock start? Right here. When did he vacated these 4, so he already got them. How long did it take him to get the other 4? Right here. 1 year. He got 8 belts in 1 year. That's what makes Naoya Inoue. Shit like that. And you want to see what other shit makes him the greatest fighter? When he came into the division, Stephen Kubo Fulton is a champion. Marlon Tapales is a champion. Luis Pantera is a champion. TJ Doheny is a champion. So he's fought 4 world champions coming into the new weight division. And like I promised you, let's count it. Check it out. Check it out. I haven't forgot. Look, these don't count from right here. Let's count them. Let's count them together. How many world title fights has he been in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, 12, 13, 13. Let me stay right there. That's where the WBA should be. 13, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. This will be his 24 consecutive world title fight. On top of getting 8 belts in 1 year, 24 fights in a row were for world title fights. And then climbing up 4 weight divisions. That's the kind of fighter Joon Kim is coming to face. That's what kind of fighter he is. Oh, and I wanted to put up like uh somebody else's record, like another champion or whatever, but I just kind of did realize that. Hold on, let me see here. Look, I'll do it anyway, but I think the WBA championships are out of it too. Okay, this is a legend right here that I'm putting up just to reference because he has a lot of belts, and I knew he had a lot of belts, so I was like, yo, let me put this dude up because, you know, Manny Pacquiao. He ended his career 62 fights, 39 ways by knockout, 8 losses. He got knocked out 3 times. Right? He's 46 years old. He's 5'5.5". He has a 67-inch arm reach. He ended his career. Well, hasn't ended it because I hear he's rumored to be fighting with a 62% knockout ratio. All right, let's start to go to his career where you start to see the little trophies. Okay, this is a world title fight. No, it is not. That's Oriental Pacific Federate. No belt. Okay, WBC fly. Okay, this is a real belt. He got this belt at 112. His next fight, his next fight wasn't scheduled for a title fight, unless there's a WBA right here. I don't think that this dude with 7-4 was the WBA champion of the world. With a record with 7-4, I'm pretty sure he was not the WBA champion. That breaks it right there. That breaks Manny Pacquiao's run. But he has so many fights that he could potentially go on another run. So let's see if he does that. Look, he got a lot of good fights. Interim belt, international super bantamweight. That ain't no belt. That ain't no belt. That's a belt. That's at 113. That's at 122. Okay, those are not belts. Okay, that breaks it right there too. See, that's the good thing about Naoya Inoue. He doesn't fight for no secondary belts. No interim, none of that crap. Look at this is the IBF Super Bant. Those are real belts right there. Those are the real deal. Okay, so he's got some real deal right here. So let's see how long he keeps the real deal going for. We got a break right here. This guy, he could have been the WBA champion of the world. Could have been. Another break right here. See? So you see how these guys' careers go? Title fights, and in between, they'll have these fights for no belts. Great fighter, great name, no belts was on the line. I think the WBA might have been on here somewhere. It could have been because it's a little confusing with this because they don't put it up. But you get what I'm saying. You see, even the greatest legends. Look, his last fights were for no belts. These were his last times that he fought for world titles right here. That was like Manny Pacquiao's best run. That's Manny Pacquiao's best run. He has like 8 or whatever amount it was on title fights. That's it, guys. So, that's just to show you that the type of stuff that Naoya Inoue is doing, bro. On the level that he's doing it. Let me catch up to you guys. What's up, Carlos? In the building. How you doing, brother? Let me know that you heard that bell right there, Carlos. Just say yes. Give me a thumbs up or something. Do you hear these crowds? Because I notice that my sound effects start turning off like in the middle of the stream or something. Let me read your comments here. Yeah, bro don't got no chance, brother. Look, Lloyd. I mean, okay, this is not a situation where you could say, "Oh, Naoya in a way cherry pick this guy." It's not when he's a late replacement. Excuse me, to save the show. This guy's going in there. He's been given a great opportunity. He's been given a chance of a lifetime. I've talked about this several times on my show. You never know how far a man's willing to go and how much he really believes in himself. Sometimes people go out there. You ever been in life like and you go out and you do some shit, whatever it was, like they're like, that door's open across the street. And it's like a hurricane, and you're on vacation in Florida. You have no idea what really how the hurricane, how powerful they are. And you're like, man, I'll just go out there, and then it picks you up, right? You drop, you run back in, and you like, I'll never go outside, right? You know, had if you don't know what you're gonna experience, you're not scared of it. And maybe that's what Kim needs here. He's probably never experienced any kind of fighter like Naoya Inoue. He's probably been studying from a long time, and things are quite different when you're watching it on TV than when you're standing in front of him. It's gonna be a whole different ball game. Now, Kim, we pulled up his record, and I don't think he's got the experience, but I think he has the will. Not sure if that alone can win you a fight when you're fighting this kind of fighter. I'm not asking a lot from Kim. Kim took the fight because he knew, according to himself, since January, he was hoping that Goodman pulled out again. And here's my time to shine. According to Kim, he grabbed that microphone up there and he was talking like, it's a done deal. You messed up. I'm knocking him out. I'm walking off with these belts. Y'all done let me in the game. He's got this grin on his face. He's like this. He's like, y'all don't know. I'm about to break this dude, right? And Naoya in a way, he listening because that translator is telling him everything. Even though he's speaking in South Korea, they don't understand each other. But that lady does, and she's telling everything. Naoya in a way, sportsman, he's not the type of dude, does a lot of trash talking. He addressed certain things. He said that, he has 25 years boxing experience, that he can handle any opponent on the fly. He's got enough skill. He knows enough about fighting that if a challenge like this were to occur in his career, oh, he's well enough prepared for it. If you beat me, he's saying you beat me. Fair and square. You got about as much as time to study for me as I had for you. There's no disadvantages in this fight. Had you gotten us a whole training camp, would you think any better of this fight? No. I don't think anything would have changed in your mind. So let nature take its course. Let's find out. Kim seems to be hella confident. He doesn't seem like a guy that's standing up there like a deer in headlights. Like the moment's too big, the event, what's at stake. He doesn't seem to be folding or melting, and like he doesn't have nothing to say. Nah, he said, I'm here. This is my time. Yo, listen, put the cameras over here. No, 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 no. He is the past. I am the future. Yo, my man is, yo, listen, he's confident. And I like that. At least he got bigger cojones than Sam Goodman. Sam Goodman pulled out three. You should have gave this Kim dude a trade. Yo, I like how he's bringing the intensity. He's not shying away. Kim, um, some might take it like, oh yeah, right, like man, this is your moment, my dude. The fuck what anybody else got to say, Kim. Pop your shit and say what you want. Yo, if he pulls the upset, everything he said is gonna be like, I told you, right? Of course, when he gets knocked out, it's gonna be when shit talking gone wrong. At least he said it in his language, so they, he could say, when like the translation gets lost a little bit, the translator tries in the Japanese dude is they're using words like for instance, huevo, egg, in Spanish is also reference to balls, right? But if you use it in different, so there has to be Japanese words that could have double meanings, triple meanings to. And if you say it in a sentence, or what if Japan's language is exactly like Latin, where that we say shit backwards? If you were to say it exactly, we know what you mean. When you say it in English, it sounds right. When we say it back in Latin, it also sounds right. But I've been in those weird conversations where the guy says, tell me what you said. And I say it, and he goes, okay, what word means what? And I'm like, I know this is going to sound weird, but I'm actually saying it backwards, but it actually translate what you're saying. It sounds perfectly fine, right? So I think Japan has to be similar like that. So sometimes she gets messed up in translation. And some of the interviews with Naoya Inoue, I noticed that they're saying something and it just don't make sense. I just be like looking at it like, I'm not. He's all of a sudden like, in my career, I want to do legendary stuff, but in the corner, the bird flies high over Denver. And then I want to make it to the Hall of Fame. And it's like, what you mean the bird fly high over Denver? Like, what? And like, it'll say something. It'll just not correlate with it. So I know that something in there they gotta get lost in translation. But make no mistake, that lady did not mess up. And then I saw him on a few interviews. I seen him like about 5 already on 5 different types of interview. He was wearing the same clothes. It was just different people interviewing him. And and then Bob Arum came up. He spoke a few words and he shared on what he think Naoya Inoue's future is going to be looking like. That he knew Goodman pulled out of the fight, suffered a cut, and he had anticipation that he might just get cut again. So they did have this guy, Kim, I guess, on standby for quite some time. So his actual time training has been longer than the 14 days that they're telling you. Because they notified Kim to start training when they gave him the first 30 days. So he has the 30 days of training, you know? So yeah, yeah, yeah. And that means smash the like button in Japan. In Japan. Armando, how you doing, brother? Naoya Inoue is fighting Joon Kim. He's fighting him. And what's up, Carlos? Hopefully 2025 Naoya Inoue US tournament tour. Um um I I think there's a possibility because of the fact that remember when Saul Canelo Alvarez went out there to Japan to support his other friend, his Mexican fighter that lost that night, right? Um, Turkey Al Sheikh, top rank, Naoya Inoue, ambassador wearing the shirt, Turkey trying to get the fight with Terrence Crawford, big fight, Naoya Inoue. Will Naoya Inoue play the undercard to Saul Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford? I would think so. Could you showcase him on that kind of fight card? The only thing is, Saul is not a top ranked fighter, and neither is Terrence Crawford. Naoya Inoue is a top ranked fighter, and his top rank going to play second to Saul. How does that work? I know that Bob Arum said he wanted to showcase Naoya Inoue in the United States his next fight. Who's big enough to showcase big enough, um, but big enough and on probably top rank. I would only think of one man, and that would have been the retired Tyson Fury. If I couldn't get the retired Tyson Fury, um, I got a lot of young prospects, superstars. He's got a lot of great ones, but not unless you can just work with Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford kind of does his thing. Ryan Garcia is golden boy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Naoya Inoue can basically sell himself in United States if you get the right dancing partner. Let's say, hypothetically, guys, I'm saying this hypothetically. Let's say if Tank Davis signed up to fight him, you think that fight wouldn't sell? That I know that's a hypothetical, and that's why I said that. But and when if I said Neil Yano will sell in America, you're like, no, he won't. Shit, he fought Tank Davis, I think it would sell. Right dancing partner. If you could shrink down Ryan Garcia or something, those kind of names would sell with him. I don't know if there's a 130 pounder or 126 pounder with enough buzz behind him to help Naoya Inoue carry the torch. So I really think the best marketable strategy, business wise, if you want to give him like a jump start, because that'll be the last time he'll ever be a co-main event in America again. I guarantee it. He just needs like to start the engine. That's it. He had some great fights in America. The problem was there was no crowd. The Neves fight, there was a crowd, but the Jason Maloney fight, there was no crowd. And that was one of the best knockouts. I think that got knockout of the year awards, right? Um, and it goes to show you that if he had a crowd for that fight, I think his star status would have took off. You know, that corona epidemic affected a lot of fighters in a lot of ways that they didn't realize until much later. Just like Teal, he fought Loma in the bubble and that corona shit, no crowd. That fight had no crowd. If the world went out to see that fight and there was ticket sales, you know how much money Teal would have got paid? But situations like that, then he wanted to fight Devin. He couldn't because they made him fight the mandatory. Camboza, and he lost. He was going after his money. That corona shit, that fucked up Teal's career, man. It did. He never really got the kind of money or capitalize what he should have. in that unification with Loma. There was just there was no crowd, no ticket sales. They didn't get paid, bro. Yeah. So, you know, when I look at this kind of fight right here, man, I'm reminded every day in a boxing match, anything can happen. Anything can happen. When your number is called, be ready. This Kim guy, he's talking a big talk right now. He's saying that, he's been preparing for Naoya in a way. He's had Naoya in a way on his radar for quite some time. He's very familiar who he is. He's like basically saying that like, there's fighters when you come up, and this is very true. Typically, a guy will pick out one of the best fighters in the world, and they'll be young in their career, and they'll mirror themselves on after them or finding ways to beat him. And all of a sudden, you're jogging one day and you get a phone call. Yup, your number's up. Guess what? It's him. The moment you've been waiting for. And by the way, this is an opportunity for 4 belts. I don't think that the stakes could be any higher, for a fight like this. So I really think that anything can happen. You got to understand, nobody thought Buster Douglas was going to win that fight. There are a lot of situations in boxing that people just counted people out. Diego Corrales, I counted him in that fight against Castillo. I thought David Corrales' eye was closed when he knocked out his mouthpiece and he went to the corner. Had I been there, I talked about this, I would have threw the towel. He went out there and scored a knockout. He went out there and knocked that man out. So that's what I mean when I talk about you can never judge. There's no measuring stick for how far a man is willing to go. I don't I don't have a measuring stick for that. There's these type of guys that, I've been in fighting situations where that, I've hit these guys and they absolutely cannot fight, bro. Right? But for no matter how many times I put him down, he got right back up and he kept going, come on, come on. And two-piece down. And he jump up. That's all you got? Come on. And two-piece down again. And afterwards, I had to admire his will. At first, I wrote it off as stupidity. I was like, if you want to be a punching bag, I'll help you out with that. Because I was only on my side. I'm only thinking my way, right? Offense, destruction. I never got to see what he was really made of. Looking back at it is when I finally was able to see, I was like, man, he might have not knew how to put it together, how to put his fist together. But had he known how to fight, you could see he was already a fighter. He had the greatest will in the world. Some people just not trained, you know? And those kind of things, instincts, fighting is really based on instinct too. A lot of it. You can be a really good instinctive fighter. What that means is typically you react much faster than your opponent. You already see what he's going to do. You feel it in your gut or wherever, and you just know what he's going to do, and instinctively you do things on either counting or off of his movement, and you get a win, quick. And there, instinctive fighter doesn't have to be quick necessarily all the time, but that's the best result, you know. So but yeah, absolutely. So those are kind of things about fighters I would have to actually see. Sometimes the name or the fight itself can bring out the type of fighter you never thought you had inside of you as a fighter. And you might go to dark places in this fight that you thought you might never, have to go to. And it happens. George Foreman talked about that when he fought Ronnie Lau. And when Ronnie Lau hit him, George Foreman said, if the punch only would have hurt it, I probably would have stood down. He said, but he hit me so hard that it felt like I came out of my body. Like he didn't feel anything. His ears were ringing. And that's the only reason why he got back up. He said, only if the punch hurt it, I would have just stood down. Man, and when men talk about these kind of fights, and these kind of situations, you really find out what you're made of. I see what Naoya Inoue is made of. I saw him fight with a broken orbital bone. I saw Naoya Inoue get dropped by Luis Pantera Nari and get up and dominate in that fight. I saw that. I saw Naoya Inoue go 12 rounds. I seen Naoya Inoue fight lefties. I seen him fight righties, orthodox fighters. I seen him fight crafty fighters. I seen him fight the American slick style, the Mexicans, the Filipinos, the Japan. I seen him fight them all. So, um, it's hard to imagine any scenario that this Kim guy comes in, leaves on Friday on the 24th with all Naoya Inoue's belts. It's hard to see a situation where in reality he stands a chance. Maybe this guy is out there on the cliff and he really doesn't know what he's playing with. So a little part into ignorance can go a long way for you. That's for that way he won't be scared. He'll go in there, compete, go forward, you know, um, never being an experience with a fighter like that. Naoya Inoue is gonna help him out with that real fast, real early in this fight. Um, this is one of those kind of fights I really believe that he thinks. I'm not sure if he thinks it or whatever. I'm not gonna think for him. But I think that he can end it within 4 rounds if he shall choose so. Um, Typically in a Naoya Inoue fight, he's gonna read this guy out in 1 round. He's gonna try to take away the best. Like if he has a good jab, a good first step, Naoya Inoue is probably gonna take that away from him, and then he's gonna punish him at some point in the fight. He's Kim's gonna be looking for somewhere to survive at some point in the fight. He's gonna want to like recuperate. Naoya Inoue, he's a shark. He really is. He smells one drop of water in that blood in that water, it's over. And his I think his finishing rate is like I think it's like it's 100%. If he has you hurt, it's over. It's over. No, well, see that Donito Donaire fight messes a lot of things up. And when we know as fight fans, Donito Donaire and that Donaire one fight got knocked out that night. The referee cut in between them, and he like belly bumped Naoya Inoue and gave Nonito Donaire like freaking 30 seconds to recuperate. Jesus. He asked, I think when Nonito Donaire was running to the corner, the referee ran over to him, was like, license and registration. Yeah, you were coming by in a non-speed zone. Yeah, and let me hold. I'm gonna start counting in a minute. Hold on. Gotta make sure it's him. Yeah, okay. 1, 2. Yo, que puerco. Yeah, man, but he knocked out Donaire in that first one. He got lucky, but that was a classic fight. I didn't mind the fact to see the remaining of the rounds. No, I know it would have sucked for Naoya in a way. He had to be the one in the ring. As me, I didn't feel anything. If you ask me, man, do you feel any pain? Nope, I don't feel nothing. You know, he's the one in there. So Naoya in a way has, you know, He's bad. What can you say? He's battle tested. He's a highly decorated champion. I consider him the greatest talent we have in our generation right now. When I talk about a complete all around fighter, I think that Naoya Inoue has to be the most complete fighter we have today. There are a lot of great fighters in boxing today, a lot of explosive guys. You know, a lot of guys are really strong in their area of boxing. I don't think that there's a fighter today that can do it all the way that Naoya Inoue is doing it. Very few fighters, you know. But we have a lot of great fights coming up, in fact. And you know, I'm gonna drop the link because I'm gonna be hopping off in a little bit. If anybody wants to come up and share anything, if anybody wants to talk about some of the Latin guys, if you guys want to come up now, we can talk about some of our guys. Feel free. You know, I'm gonna drop the link right here because we could always squeeze it in too, you know, and show the love. Um, where's my link? Right here. But this fight is so close, so around the corner, and it's so big in so many different ways that I was like, man, I have to talk about what this man just said on this on the podium. I thought that he it was real ballsy, you know, he like didn't show Naoya in a way no kind of fear. Like, and I thought that was great. I thought that was great. He was like, yo, dude, check this out. Um, I'm beating you for these belts. And I was like, man, no, he didn't just say that. Right. So I thought that man, listen, that's, you know, and one thing I got to admit, right? At least he sounds more confident than um Sam Goodman's ass. No, his name is Brad Goodman. Let's call him Brad Goodman. Remember when Ed Hearn called him Brad Goodman? His name is Brad Goodman from now on, all right? Yeah. Yeah. His name is Brad Goodman, bro. So, absolutely, like, I think that this fight right here, and once it gets finalized and we get past this, Uncle Bob is going to bring him to United States. Now, whether what card he gets on United States, you know, and the rumor with Junto Nakatoni, I guess Uncle Bob is still not letting this damn fight go. Even though Junto has already announced he wants two more fights at 118. Once again, you know, I talked to a couple guys here and they're like saying, like, he keeps mentioning that. You know, he's like, yeah, I know what he said, but you know, we'll throw a bag of money in his face and boom. You know, when you got players like Turkey, Alashik willing to come up and pay these guys to fight, you pay Junto enough money. Sometimes it's hard to not say no, you know? So uh I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You guys remember the time where that you guys heard all those rumors about um, like a year ago that the Turkey Al-Sheet was offering Naoya Inoue $69 million. Remember we talked about it? And what fight was it that he was coming into that it was the Stephen Kubo Fulton fight. It was his very first fight coming at 122 when those rumors started to come out, right? Why you think Naoya Inoue never entertained any of that? It's the same reason what's going on with these other guys in boxing. Boxing went up and went. They lost their mind. Turkey's fucking with boxing a little too much. And my man Turkey, you got to put these guys and stop making it so easy for them. Because at the same time, it's going to give you a bad look. Meaning, what can anybody out there tell me? What weight is Ryan Garcia fighting at? What weight is Devin Haney fighting at? What weight is Teal fighting at? What weight are all these guys fighting at? In fact, Turkey Al-Sheikh made up his own weight. He's got like 4 fighters fighting at 143 or at 144. Those are the guys that can't make 140, but they don't want to go all the way up to 147. What? That's not even a real weight division. What kind of Mickey Mouse shit is this? You mean to tell me you're going to have Rolly and Ryan fight at a catch weight at 143? That's not a weight division. Then you got these other dudes following suit. Because if they can do it, we'll do it. So these guys don't want to go up to 147 and fight to face the music. Jerron Boots Ennis, Brian Norman Jr., and etc. Right? So they just want to they want to make up their own weight division. Where is boxing going, guys? What are they doing? What the hell is that? Then people have the nerve to ask, is this Rolly and Ryan Garcia fight for a world title? Yeah, it's the catch weight world championship of the world. The 143 catch weight championship of the world. What kind of shit is this, man? It's either you fight at 140 or you fight at 147. We have weight divisions for a reason. We have ranking systems. Where is Ryan ranked in the catch weight ranking system? You know what I mean? And Rolly just enrolled. They pay sanctioning fee to the catch weight system, ranking system. This is ridiculous, man. Sometimes I'm a little baffled about what money can do for you. You have that much money, Turkey. You walk in and you start dictating, putting these fights together, but also not holding these fighters accountable, not allowing them to keep boxing and its rule structure prestigious. You rather bend the rules for your shows. It's okay when you do it because I'm giving you pay-per-view for 25, 20 bucks, 30 bucks, whatever it is, right? And I'm giving you these massive fight cards. So because I'm doing all of this, I can do whatever the hell I want. And I'll take these guys and schedule them at these weights and you guys will like it. But at the end of the day, what does this do for the fighter? For the fighter's legacy and career? He didn't fight he went nowhere. That was a dead fight. You're actually hurting his career. But I guess you wouldn't care about their career when you only have your interest in line. If you hold these fighters accountable and you keep them to the rule of boxing, just like you told Ryan Garcia, I'll do business with you when you pass the urine tests. You hold him accountable, didn't you? You honored the fact you could have put him out in Saudi, but you said, no, I'm not going to have to fight fans lash out on me for you. So where are the double standards? When it benefits you, it's okay for you to break the rules. So how are you leading? By example or by like a tyrant? It's my way or no way. I just want to know, where's boxing going? What are we doing? It's either you fight 147 or you don't. Or you make 140, bro. They've been playing this game with Ryan Garcia for so long that his last 3 fights, he was 143. That Omar fight, right? That got rescheduled from 140. It was scheduled 140. Got rescheduled to a catch weight. Devin Haney fight should have got rescheduled, and it did, right? Basically, after he missed the weight and got caught for the PEs, But it just goes to show you he couldn't make 140 for a long time. He's actually been fighting in his own made up weight division, 143. That's the lowest Ryan can get. And because that's the lowest he can get, the Saudi prince said, well, then I'll side right there for you, Ryan. At least I know you can make that. You're enabling Ryan's bullshit. It's either get disciplined and get on that treadmill and make the 140 because you can make it, is that you're just not training. You're making these excuses, Ryan, because in actuality, even you after the fight, you fuck up and you reveal the truth. Ryan said, I didn't even train for this fight. So if you didn't even train, that's why you couldn't cut weight. But had you trained, he'd make 140. But by enabling him, don't worry, Ryan, make 143. That's why Ryan's the way he is. Because a lot of people allowed him to get away with a lot of shit, and they bent a lot of rules for him because he was popular. What are we doing? I don't know. All right, front line. Good night, brother. Maybe 147. Teal 140. Haney catch weight 140. Ryan 147. Ryan's fighting at a catch weight with against Pitbull. It got announced they're supposed to be fighting at 143, 144, some shit like that. It wasn't 147. I thought it was. I heard somebody say it. Some YouTube content creators say it, right? But it didn't match when the ESPN dude there, he didn't say the same thing. So it made me think, did the guy speak, fast and thought it would be at 147? Or who's wrong here? But I'm hearing more now that when the Saudi prince's phone call on that Fight Hub dude, that he said it. He said, perhaps Ryan can fight at a catch weight. Perhaps Teal and everybody can fight at catch weights and shit. What's up, Carlos? That's you? Let me see. Yeah, that's my man, Carlito Way. What up, Carlos?
What's up?
What's up, baby? How you doing? Yeah, so yeah, that's what I was just in there finishing off, trying to catch up. Sometime I'm a little bit behind. So yeah, that's
I didn't know it was a catch weight. That's why I
yeah,
joined.
yeah. You see, the Saudi prince was on the phone call and he was saying all these catch weight fights. I'm sitting back thinking 143 is not a weight division, bro. Where the hell are they getting this number from? The place where they're getting the number from, that's the exact number Ryan Garcia kept hitting his last few fights. And I think they were like, okay, Ryan, well then can you make 143? And in actuality, Ryan can truly make 140. He really can if he was to train. Everybody's saying, look how big he is. He can't. Well, yeah, because that's how big he allowed himself to get. But if Ryan Garcia was training and in shape, he'd make 140. Yeah, he could. He even admitted after the fight, I wasn't in shape. He looked like shit in the fight. Whenever he needed a break, he'd just turn around and let Devin Haney punch on his back, take a breather for a couple seconds, then turn around and put the Beats by Dre on Devin Haney. It was like he looked like trash in the Devin Haney fight. He didn't look in shape, nothing. So that goes to his training, bro.
Yeah, his stamina was terrible.
He didn't jog, he didn't run. So how the hell do you expect him to make 140? Of course he's gonna look big. It's gonna give you the impression, look how big he is. He can't make the weight. No, that's called being lack of discipline, lack of training. That's what that is. The dude didn't train. He didn't even bother to try to make the weight. He's just not a professional.
What's your
You know,
opinion? Sorry to cut you off.
yep.
What's your
Go ahead.
opinion of Bang Bang saying that Ryan whooped on Devin? Devin got his O overturned, and now he's on the Ryan's undercard. Right? They fight
Oh,
on the same day, right? Well, who's gonna be the main event?
well, on. I thought it was gonna be Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Schofield.
Skull, yeah, Willie
Skull. I
Skull.
mean Skull. Yeah, Skull. Sorry. Um. Um. I thought it was gonna be the Canelo fight, and they were all gonna fight on the undercard, right? And then he would fight Skull, and then off of that fight, Saul would go on to fight Terrence Crawford, and then these guys would probably fight on that undercard. It would be the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney rematch, and it'd probably be there. So, there were a couple things that needed to be worked out. Ryan Garcia's team screaming, the only way I'll fight Devin Haney if he drops the lawsuit. The Saudi prince said the only way I'll talk to you, Ryan, is when you got 6 months positive clean testing. Everybody's noticing that the time is coming up in April for Ryan to come off suspension. But the way it works, you coming off of a suspension or enough time where they deemed you an inactive fighter. Whenever they deem you an inactive fighter or you've been suspended, you have to submit 6 months with clean urines to the athletic committee for them to enroll you back into the sport. Just like Conor McGregor couldn't, go back to the UFC because you try to say you got to have 6 months clean, bro. Right? So, as long as Ryan Garcia keeps playing around with this testing shit, it doesn't matter to them. This is not their career. Ryan Garcia, this is your career. So, for as long as you want to wait, that's how much time more. You can add 6 more months to that year, and you would have been suspended for a year and 6 months. But if you do it the right way, and while you're in the suspension, enroll yourself back in. So when your year is up, you did the same 6 months. Ryan Garcia thinks he's gonna be like Connor. He's gonna get a rude awakening. They're not gonna let him back in. He's gonna have to test under these Vada Wada people. So I don't know what he's doing. They're saying Devin Haney and his father, Bill Haney, are definitely saying that he's hasn't enrolled. Because they were thinking about the deadline. Remember when Bill Haney came on and said Ryan Garcia got 24 hours to enroll into VADA, right? The reason why he said that, because from that day forward, you give him 6 months, it'll land on the day that he's up for suspension. So the timing would have been right. See, the more you don't submit into testing and you go over that line, you're going to be suspended that many more months for free. Because you still got to give them 6 months, regardless. There's no way around it.
Yeah, it's like he has to earn his trust back with the sport.
Yeah.
And Bang, I heard your I understood your comment. Trust me, it's this upcoming May fight that's rumored to be in New York, I believe.
Oh, yeah, an upcoming fight. Look, these fights, there's going to be a lot of moving parts. They got to iron out, of course, who's going to main event or whatever. You still got superstars like Naoya Inoue you could play around with on some of these cards, presenting them to the U.S. with Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, some of these big fights.
But my question to you, like, if he comes to the U.S., would it be at 122 or 126? Because if it's 126, then I'll say good because USA has the majority of the belts at 126. The only belt that is not on U.S. soil is the short dude, the WBA champion, Nick Ball.
Mm.
But the other champions, Leo. I mean, you got Espinosa, but Espinosa fights at America. And who's the WBC? I forgot. Oh, Brandon Figueroa, who's gonna fight with Stephen Fulton. So you got options. That's why I say that.
Okay. Well, you know, I'm sitting here romanticizing about him going up to 126 and all the opportunity that lies ahead. But in reality, that's only a question Naoya Inoue can answer. Um, you got my vote if you were to ask me if the question was, would I welcome him at 126? Hell yeah. I but Naoya Inoue, he's a serious dude, bro. He's not led by influence. He's not led by opinion. He really asks him the questions. You know, can I do this? Am I ready for this? And he understands the responsibility of a loss and a win. And he understands how important and how hard it is just to win one world title, let alone four. So you don't want to achieve all this hard work and all this success and just go out there one night foolishly, move up and weight and get dominated in the fight, not because you weren't the most skilled, because his sheer size was able to take your punches because he was so much bigger than you and he just bludgeoned you to death, like, and it wasn't really his skill. And after the fight, you feel silly because you know if you had his size, you would have whooped his ass. So, what did you just do to your career? Why did you just take an opportunity if you really couldn't win? So, Naoya Inoue understands the value of protecting his legacy. If he's not ready to go up to 126, then I'm going to take his word for it. As a fan, I want to see him at 126. I could be an angry fan and say, there's nobody else there. I don't know why he's there. No, there's a reason why if he's going to stay there and remain there, there's a reason. He has more work to do. So I understand how serious he is as a fighter and how he views his career. So whatever decision he decides, I know it's going to be the right one. I'm going to support it. I want to see this, but when it happens, it'll happen. I mean, my man
Yeah, I
is
understand.
doing, yeah, my man. I'm not in no rush. I'm not in no rush to move him up there. Then Espinoza beats on him because he's all 6'1", and Naoya Inoue is too sluggish to move. He's got like a pot belly, no abs, right? And he can't get out of the freaking um the octopus's hands here because it's like
Yeah,
Espinosa's gonna be
listen,
like this,
like
you
there's
know?
options. There's options.
Yeah,
I just say that because I'm a fan. You know what I
of
mean?
course.
But like if he does it, okay, it does it. It's not the end of the world
Right,
because
right. That's
I
how I
know,
feel.
I
That's how
know,
I feel.
I know that who knows if he stays at 122, he maybe an MJ fight. Hey, there's a
Yeah,
Nakatani coming up.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
maybe down the line a Bam, but Bam still gotta go to 118. You know what I mean? So
yeah. He's got to get past Nakatani first.
options.
Because that would be a super fight, Bam Rodriguez against Junto Nakatani.
Oh yeah, I
That
love
would
that fight. But
that would be a great fight. Yeah,
action,
um, be,
action.
because what I like about Bam Rodriguez is his angles, like Loma. You know how when he spins a guy,
Yeah,
he knows how to hit in transition on the spin. And he's really sharp with those body shots. El Gallo is, and when he dropped him, and I saw Bam go down for the first time, I said to myself, "Oh shit!" But I could tell it was like a flash knockdown. It was obvious Bam wasn't hurt at all by that shot. And he gets up and he's so slick with those shots, these windows that are like, and he gets in between these shots. So that's what I like about him. What I like about Junto, he knows how to fight long, in close. and
Yeah.
he's got good range. He's got good distance, understanding. For such a skinny, long fighter, he really knows how to put the fighter at the end of his punch.
He uses his height well.
Well, he knows how to bend with his knees. He knows how to make himself shorter, taller. Uh, when he was with Jason Maloney, he was a lot. I mean, not Jason, his brother, Arnold. What's the other Maloney? Anyway, the other Maloney brother. What he did was right. He knew he had him hurt. He was in front of him. He lowered his knees and put his gloves like this to block the Maloney's like eyesight. And then he came around and he knocked. Yo,
Yeah,
listen,
that was nasty. I
it
remember
was nasty.
it was nasty
He
hard.
knew how to make himself little and to like try to disguise. And
Destroyed him.
when he was gonna peek right out of the guard, when he went like that, bro, he came up. Man, it looked like his soul ran out of his body. It
Yeah, that was
ran out of the ring.
oh man.
Jesus, I thought he killed him. Now,
Nah.
the lady's expression in the front row, she's like that. That was like brutal. But you see, that was a good when I talk of what I like about him and shit. He knows how to fight tall. He knows how to make himself short. He's crafty like that, and those are some of the traits that I like about Junto. In a fight with Bam and Junto like that, man, their two styles. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
he's the big
yeah,
man coming to
that's
the
a
fight.
big. Oh man, that's a big fight.
What
So,
you
but yeah, go
uh
ahead.
in the comment of Bang, he said that if Devin was such a draw, Turkey would have made Devin the main event, not Ryan. Do you agree with that?
100%, I agree with that. Right now,
I do too.
I think that no matter if Devin got the O removed and Ryan Garcia tested on the PEs, right? The world is not good. You're not going to remove what the world saw that night. Okay. And the fact that it's already been revealed to the world that Ryan Garcia got found guilty for not submitting 2 supplements to the boxing athletic committee. He didn't necessarily get found guilty for PEUs. So when the guys from the lab came back, said 60 billionth of a gram. At some point, they have professionals. Even the VADA has their guy. Now, when these things go to court, you have to understand a few things are at stake here. VADA's credibility as the worldwide leading doping agency in the world. If anybody else, any other doctor can come up, test that same vial, and get a different result and prove it in court, then VADA's name drops for credibility. They got to be the best, and they are. They're probably one of the top doping agencies in the world that got every machine.
They
Nobody
test for
can,
everything.
yeah, nobody's better than them. So when Devin Haney's father, Bill Haney, asked the VADA guy, how much did he have in his system? They told him, how much benefit would Ryan get from that? He whispered that in Bill's ear. Once Bill knew what that was, notice he went and took him to court for assault and battery, not for PEs, because that's going to come out in court.
Yeah.
That professional guy is going to say he had absolutely no benefit from what we found in his system. It's impossible he could have had any benefit from it. And those are not the words they want to hear.
But
So,
people but people say this is their argument.
yeah,
The ones that are, in Haney defense, they say that, oh, he's cycling. He's cycling. That's why he was like, cycling. And that's why it showed up
okay. If
negative.
nobody knows, if you don't know how to what a cycle is, right? Then people shouldn't talk about cycling when they've never cycled a PE thing, because cycling means you would go on something for 6 weeks and then you got to come down, cycle off of it, and you got to take all these other drugs to come down off of your cycle. So even though they wouldn't be able to test the PE in your system, they're going to test the 110 products that you're putting in your system. And the way that these doping agencies been around for hundreds of years, right? Whatever it is, they know what it looks like that when you're tapering off something or cycling off. And what does cycling mean, by the way? It means that you're coming off of it, meaning you're not at the highest performance of the drug. You're cycling off. I don't know where you can take a drug on Wednesday and next Wednesday you feel the full maximum amount of it, of the drug. Where's there a super drug like that on the planet? Whatever drug you put into your body, it immediately works into your body. If you smoke marijuana, you'll get the effect. Whatever drug you do, you get it. You're supposed to do the steroid every other day or whatever type of PE you have, so it builds up. It has to build up for it to get the maximum performance, and then you must maintain that. You don't stop taking the steroid. You don't wing yourself off, because by the time you're winging yourself off, if you were a bodybuilder, your bench already went down 20 pounds. So you're coming off of it.
Yeah.
It's not like when you're coming off the steroid, you're at like, I got the maximum benefit. No, you're getting the maximum when you're in the height of it. You got the 6 weeks, it built up in your system. Now you're doing it now. Now you're like, rah, boom, it's built in your system. But there's not a drug in the world you can do 10 days later, be at the height of it in the ring. You already tested positive, or not 10 days later, where it was really like the first positive test was like something like 10 days. It was
That
because
that that Ryan situation, you know, popping positive for Austrian, it's a weird situation because if I'm not mistaken, he was clean before the fight. It was the day of the fight that they.
yeah, okay, right. It was the day before the fight, the weigh-in, something like that, and rumors. Somebody said it was one more test. It was like 3 tests. It was like 6 days before the fight. I don't know how true that is. I can't co-sign that. I know that everybody that I've checked with have already agreed that he did test positive the day before the fight and the day of the fight.
Okay.
And then the when Saul Canelo Alvarez's fight came up that weekend, they broke the news. That's when we found out about it. But there was like a 6-day period that after the fight that nobody knew that Ryan Garcia had tested positive. See? Okay. So whether or not, you know what I'm saying, like he was on PEs or whatever like that, I'm under the impression that the PEs will give you benefits. And if he was cycling off of something and coming off of something, cheating on something, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? I think that justice was the thing was corrected. I believe he did get a year suspension, didn't he? And the O did get removed off Devin Haney, didn't it? So he's not getting credit for the win, Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney's not being credit for the loss, and Ryan Garcia got a year suspension.
That was a
So
crazy night. Like I just
yeah,
like that day. Was so crazy because nobody thought Ryan was gonna win, and
nobody,
the people
nobody,
listen,
nobody.
and the people that betted on Ryan to win, man, they made so much money. Oh man, those
Yeah.
casinos had to been mad, man. You know how much millions of dollars they lost that night?
Yo, let me tell you something. I never saw a man's face light up like a Christmas tree, like I saw Oscar De La Hoya's face in the crowd that night.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yo, he was throwing punches in the air. He was going, ah, yo. Listen, I looked into the crowd, and when you could see Oscar's face go, like his eyes got wide, like this big. It was ridiculous. But no, Hopkins was jumping him on the side. Yo, the atmosphere and the initial shock of it all, you know, you kept thinking Devin Haney's going to be okay. He's going to get it together. He's going to whoop Ryan's ass after he got stunned like the first time. Then when he got his shot with which I feel anyway was the biggest um sequence in the fight when he got dropped the first time. You could hear the crowd go, ooh, when the dude was talking, and all of a sudden Ryan went, boom, boom. They were solid, bro. And the crowd went, ooh, and then all of a sudden you seen Devin Haney just drop. And that's when he was trying to like get up, and it looked ugly, and his feet were kind of stretched out. That was the knockdown I'm talking about. That knockdown right there, Ryan caught him flush. The other ones, he did knock him down. The ref cheated him a little, but I mean the combo he put together, it was pretty on point.
I
He
don't,
missed a couple of
man.
them.
It was. I ain't gonna lie, man. Was
What?
that ref was definitely giving Haney enough time to like recover and stuff like that.
I don't know, Carlos. You got some answering to do. They found the referee's phone number in your phone on that night, and a cash payment was issued from your account to the referee's account. You want to explain yourself, Carlos? You know
Man,
what
like I think
I
it's the weird stuff in boxing where you know you clearly see Haney is getting hurt. You know,
yeah.
if it was a other type of fighter, that fight would have been stopped. But you know, it's just boxing is a unique sport, man, because it's like, for example, we're talking about Rolly Romero versus Ryan coming up. When
Yeah.
Rolly was given that win with Ismael Barroso, the
Which
old
wait a
guy,
minute, you know how many wins Rolly was given?
man, they gift him a world title, man. I'm like, what? And you clearly see that Ismael Barroso wasn't hurt with that the punches that supposedly stopped him.
I don't know, man. Look, I don't know what it is about boxing that sometimes I guess real star status or celebrity status can buy you certain things because when you think about it, who the fuck bought Rolly that belt, that WBA World Championship? He's not signed with Bob Arum. He's not signed to Matchroom. He wasn't signed to Golden Boy. It was fucking Floyd.
Yeah, right after getting knocked out by Tank.
Like it's like no, because he lost to Barboza, right? What was who who was it that he fought for the WBA championship at one that he
Ismael
won?
Barroso.
Right, okay. Okay. He lost that fight.
Right.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, what powers that be granted him that decision? Why did they, and it's like, do they really fuck up these fights, these refs? Like, it's like some of these refs, I
And
kind
that
of
was a
think that,
veteran ref. That wasn't I don't know his name, but you seen that ref before in, grueling fights. That wasn't a grueling fight. You know what I mean?
there's no reason to stop the fight. Like, you see, look, you're damn if you do. I understand as a referee, right? If you don't stop the fight and you don't get in the way, and then something tragically happens to that fighter, and you had the opportunity to step in and you didn't because they were like, yo, ref, don't stop this fight. Let him go out on his shield type shit. you don't do your job and that kid gets hurt, that's going to go back on your name. Now, and as a referee, sometimes situations are hard to, in a split minute, you see that guy's eyes roll back, but some guys got this recuperative power that, in literally like 2 seconds, he's back. You know what I mean? And you might have like jumped in, and then when they look at the guy, he's looking at him mad, like, yo, I'm here. Like, and you're like, oh shit. Like, he wasn't really that far out. I've seen situations like that. So, as far as a referee, you're damn if you do, you're damn if you don't. But that's not what took place in Devin Haney's situation. Okay? That's not what took place.
Man,
What took place there, it was clearly looks like there was some knockdowns scored, my man. And we have instant replay during the era with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. Do you remember when Virgil Ortiz went down in the fight twice? Right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Check it out. They didn't award him the knockdown right away.
No,
I
good
believe
thing.
it was like the fourth round where the official hopped up in the corner,
Huh?
notified the referee. The referee notified the judges, and they notified the fighters and said, we're counting the knockdown. Meaning, they went back and looked at the instant replay because the referee deemed it so. He said, I want the instant replay on that. So why didn't the referee in the Devin Haney fight run the instant replay to award Ryan Garcia the knockdowns if he wasn't trying to help Devin?
Yeah.
You have the opportunity at the instant replay. It's in effect. It took you a couple of rounds. You sorted it out and awarded it to the guy that knocked down Virgil Ortiz. So when I know that these rules are put in place, they were an option in a fight. You didn't use it. I'm scratching my head. And I don't want to be like, oh, the brothers was, but come on, man. Sometimes, when I saw that injustice to O'Shaughnessy Foster, I
Yeah, that was a
knew,
robbery.
I knew that the fix was in. The fix was in. You know what I mean? Justice was prevailed, yes, granted, but that still fucks with your career, bro.
At least a bad
O'Shaughnessy
taste.
Foster,
It was
yeah,
well,
yeah,
you know. Another fight that made me believe it was a wrong decision. Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor too.
yeah.
Man, I remember I watched that fight and I thought Amanda Serrano, man, this is ours. We won that. We won that. And they said Katie Taylor won. Man, I had like those 24 packs of water bottles.
Yeah.
I grabbed that, threw it across the living room. I'm like, what? Oh no, man.
Nah, you see, and then people are already talking to me about Ellen. How do you feel about Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, the third one, the trilogy? And I'm like, why? Before I can see her get robbed for the third time? I say, at what point don't you guys understand? They're not gonna let Amanda beat her. Like, and Amanda didn't help her situation out by, throwing the WBC title in the trash, speaking up against the WBC, which in fact the women won their 3-round fights, didn't really fare too well in them.
3 minutes.
Amanda and the rest of the ladies should see the advantage in a 2-round fight. They could be that much stronger for every round that comes out.
3
You could
minutes.
still get 12-round fights in there, girls, and still accomplish what you need to accomplish in the fight, but be better, fresh. You wouldn't be dragging yourself for like another minute in the fight. But anyway, Amanda took that approach. I respect her. I respect her decisions. I don't think she helped her case, but um, I just don't think the powers that be are going to let her win. And when she clearly beat her not once but twice, in my eyes, I think she beat her. And I'm not even trying to like be biased or nothing. I just think she did the better work. And I saw that there was a lot of swing rounds, and I thought that Katie Taylor won some good rounds in there, and then there was some rounds that she clearly won. I'm not saying like Amanda wiped her down either, but
No, it was a
um,
close fight. You know,
it was not. Yeah, it was close after Amanda got the cut.
yeah,
It was close after that. It was almost one sided before the cut.
yeah. And another thing, I people don't understand like who's the bigger fighter, Katie Taylor. She's the undisputed champion at what 140. So Amanda Serrano has to go up and beat the bigger fighter. And in that fight, if a smaller fighter is being that much of a making it so much competitive,
Yeah.
it's like man, dude, like
Right.
you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, you
what
can't
more you
even
got?
stop the smaller girl.
What more
You
you gotta
know.
like prove?
Yeah.
What more you gotta prove? But no, it's like uh,
Right.
you know,
And I
baby
mean, how much?
favoritism.
How many more fights you think Katie Taylor got in her anyway at this age?
Because
I mean,
like ain't Amanda Serrano came from 126 to go up to 140?
Amanda Serrano's fought in 7 weight divisions, my man.
Exactly. But she's
Yeah.
undisputed at 126 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only one I think it is. I think that's the only weight division she holds undisputed reign in. Yeah.
Like man, like people don't see that part of it, you know.
No. Her accolades, she's probably gonna go down as probably the best, when it's all said and done. I don't think Clarissa Shields has enough uh, you know, to yet anyway. She's unified in 2 weight divisions. I get it. She almost did it in a third. She needed like one more belt or something. She didn't actually complete it. Um, but Clarissa's resume, she hasn't really fought that many great female champions. I mean, what does she have? 3 knockouts, 4 knockouts?
Yeah, she doesn't have a lot of
Yeah,
knockouts.
she doesn't have a lot of knockouts. You know what I mean? We
That's
have someone that wants to join the show here. Let me pull
definitely.
him up here. Ryan Frazier. Oh my man, how you doing? 50
What's good,
grand
Edwin?
pops in pan. How you doing?
I say I gotta
Huh?
pull up, man. You always come to
Yeah,
my channel. I'm like, I gotta get out here and get on Edwin's
that's
channel,
what's up,
man.
man. Thanks for showing the love, man. Pulling up, Ryan Frazier.
For
How you
sure, brother.
doing?
All good, man. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. We got these fights coming up. We got this early one coming up in Japan that I definitely got to check out.
Right.
That got rescheduled, and I'm anticipating what's his next announcement. Does he stay at 122, 126? The anticipation of that, and then we'll go from there.
For real, for real.
And then the biggest fight, of course, is David the Monster Benavides and David Morrell. That has to
Yeah.
be one of the greatest matches for non-title fight in quite some
Right.
time I've seen.
The intern,
Yeah.
the battle of the interns, man.
Oh, don't get me started on that. Carlos just said that to me. He was like, "Ain't these for the interns?" I was like, "Yeah, but ain't there interns at 168?"
They were, yeah, both of them were, yeah. So I don't know, man. They like intern belts, I guess, these guys.
They just wearing them. They just wearing them for and that's where a lot of the confusion comes in. And I'm just like, dude, I don't think you can fight for your 168 and 175 interim belts. I don't think it works that way. and they over here, one's pointing at his interim. Mine's more interim than yours. You know,
Oh
you
no,
know.
David Morrell threw his at
Yeah, he threw his
Benavidez.
at his.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was funny, man. I was like, yo, that's what you do with those intern belts. Throw them away,
Yeah.
man.
uh,
If it was that valuable, maybe you wouldn't throw it, right?
Yeah,
right. I mean, Turkey bought himself a belt. He's got the ring size magazine. It used to be what we used to consider the Bible of boxing. A very prestigious magazine, holds a lot of weight, a real staple in boxing. Now that Turkey, I guess he couldn't buy the 4 belts. He did the next best thing. He bought a prestigious award that's been around for quite some times. I think half of the casual fans believe it was a world title anyway. So you wouldn't really need to convince the people. You would just have to have the guys paying sanction and fees and sell it. You know, if
Mm,
you were gonna have a starting point to try to like turn on a world title and not start like the IBO or the WBO when they did, the best belt you could have ever bought was probably the Ringside Magazine. And I
yep.
think he's gonna try to make the Ringside Magazine the most powerful belt in time in boxing. I think his vision. I heard him say once. I haven't heard him say this ever again, but I heard him say one time he wants it to be one champion, one belt era. Unfortunately, Saudi Prince, if you ever hear my message, that will never work in this era. That's why we're here at a four belt era in the first place, because when you have divisions that have over 2,000 men in one division, one belt is not going to work for 2,000 fighters.
Yeah, but then you look at Canelo Alvarez. He's held on to four for how long?
3 years.
Finally, it took one of them to strip him, but he's held up a lot of guys' dreams, man. He's held up
Out
for
for 3 years.
years. Yeah.
What that typically says is because of the fact that it's four, and you kind of start a division, everybody's like fighting for one belt type shit. If there was a fighter to be able to pull off all four, rightfully and deservedly so, most men in the division ain't gonna want to fight him. He's gonna have to be him. He's typically gonna be him. So there's
Right.
not gonna be a lot of people raising their hand to fight him anyway. That's what validates you by collecting all four and the beatings and the bodies you left in the wake. You
Yeah.
know, that in the intimidation that nobody's gonna really want to fight you if that you're that kind of guy. So that's where you build up in the four belts. And not like I talked about this, right? They say Tank Davis is the best 135 pounder. And I say to the people now, prove it to me that he's the best. How? If I have a belt, he has one, and he has one, we're
Hmm.
equal.
Yep.
Now it's just up to opinion. In order for you to be better for me, I think you would have to have two belts
Exactly.
at
More than the
least.
other guy. Yeah.
Yeah, you would have to have more. I don't care who you fought, what you say, how more popular you are, how much more money you make than me. Technically, you don't have more than me. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. And shout out to Turk because it looked like he tried to make a belt with that undisputed one, that ugly belt he used to hold up, and the fans didn't really respond to it. So he went to the one that I think is historically good. Like the ring doesn't even charge sanctioning fees, and it's the way it's you get it is you got to beat the other top guy. That's the only way you can get it. You beat
Yeah.
the guy who's the guy.
See here, see that's that's what makes the belt not a world championship. That rule that you're mentioning right there, because it's not fair. Everybody doesn't have the right to compete for it, and if everyone doesn't have the right to compete for your belt, then it's only awarded to the number one, number two guy. Like if I was the number six and I got a phone call for a world title, that means I bypassed my opportunity. You know what I'm saying? To fight or compete for your belt. And then there's not one in every division. It's kind of given out to like the most popular fighter.
No, it's there. It's
It's
just
there. It just
yeah,
nobody wins it.
you
Yeah, it's
gotta
so
win all the
hard to.
belts first. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's
It's
how
so
it's
hard to get it. Right.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not just something that's out there. In order to turn that into a real world title, he would first pay sanctioning fees, back the belt, right? Then he would also take away the rule of the number one, number two. He would make a ranking system, just like any other belt, and he would put up his belt against the rest. Remember what the belts are saying initially? The
Yeah.
IBF is saying, we're better than the WBA.
No,
We're
but the ring
better.
has they have a ranking system. They
Right.
do have one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Top
but but
10.
yeah, but now it'll be adjusted by, not the number one, number two, I guess,
And I
type
don't think
shit.
they need sanctioning fees because they got subscriptions, bro. Everybody subscribes for the magazine.
Okay. Okay. That sounds good. So, and then the Saudi Prince kid just got to back it.
Yeah, because I don't think they honestly sanctioning fees to me is just so they can have that big party they have every year, that convention. That's what
Yeah.
it funds. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah. Yeah.
really.
But I believe sanction fees are 100% necessary in the business part. Like, what would it be for me as a business to provide you a world stage and our belt, and I don't get a cut out of the pie? Try to go be that champion without our belt in our world stage.
And this is what I've always said. If Canelo didn't hold the belts and just fought the best fighters, the belts wouldn't matter. He'd be bigger than the belts
No,
because of the
Canelo
fights he
can
would
be.
be in.
Okay. Check this out, Brian. I mean, Ryan. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
never want to disrespect you, right?
Nah, it's
Because
all good.
you cool as shit with me, right? Check this out. You I want to share something with you, right? Okay. I'm not sure if you see me have my little meltdown with Tank Davis when I heard him that he wanted to retire. I just snapped, right?
Oh,
And
nah.
I had my little moment, right? And later yesterday I made a video and I was like really sitting back and I was thinking about Tank Davis' situation. Yes, I came to the conclusion he was a prize fighter. Then I said to myself, I honestly got to admit that Tank Davis has skills, real power, but why isn't he fighting these dudes? Then I started to realize when Tank Davis came out and announced he wanted to change his name from Tank Davis to his Muslim name.
Mm-hmm.
Then it started clicking me. I turned around, I looked at my legend, and I was like, shit. The one thing I noticed about Ali, Muhammad Ali, was that Muhammad Ali was chosen by his people. He was in a position where he had a voice. And rather than him saying, I am the greatest, I float like a butterfly, they wanted him to speak up for the people. They wanted him to play a politician's role and they wanted him to represent Black excellence in a
Yeah.
time where they needed their own heroes. I think that the people chose Tank Davis. He's in a situation where he represents exactly that. Now, in order for you to represent that, you can't lose. And I think
Mm.
Tank put himself in a situation where he can't let them down.
But
Every now and then,
Ali lost though. Like we
yeah,
seen him lose.
I understand that. I understand that, right? When you look in Tank Davis's crowd and you see the guys with the little bow ties and they changed his name,
Yeah.
you start seeing the celebrities and everything, and you start seeing people of power, not necessarily boxing fans, but that's showing support. And I'm gonna tell you something right now that has to be an honor. Mexico picked Saul Canelo Alvarez. Japan picked Naoya Inoue. Okay? When your country picks you, it could be a lot of pressure for a young man. You might have all the skills, and I'm not making him any excuses. But the thing is to show excellence. And by promoting that, you must win.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be foolish right now and take these dangerous fights. I know it hurts you, but there are a lot of kids looking up right now that we need role models for. And sometimes some of us don't want to take these positions, but I think it's forced onto some of us. I'm starting to look at
Yeah. That's
Tank
terrible,
Day.
man.
Yeah, I
We
think
should accept losses. Like if our champions are fighting the tough fights, we got to know
right,
somebody's
but
got to
you
lose.
cannot promote excellence while your guy is getting knocked out. So they might be telling them, as for right now, we need you to win. Later on, you could take these tough fights. But as of right now, we need you to fight Lamont Roach.
Yeah.
It might hurt you. It might sting a little, okay? But this is what we expect from you, okay? Now, look, Cassius Clay never lost. Muhammad Ali got knocked down.
Yeah, but Muhammad Ali was the one who was fighting the tougher fights, in my opinion.
And Muhammad Ali was fighting the tougher fights out of the ring.
He was too. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Okay?
That's why I don't really compare Ali to anybody in this era. I can't, man, because
Right. Now,
the times.
I just think that he's one of the highest paid. He's a Black American superstar. He's one of the top ones in this game. And I think that they put a lot of pressure on him. I think he puts a lot of pressure on himself. I think that Tank Davis is really in a position where that he can't afford the loss. And I think that Mexico is really coming at US right now. I think they're going to try to get that one back by defeating our legend Terrence Crawford, boosting him up 2 weight divisions and trying to take him out. I think that this is a very competitive, but like I always sport, but I always say boxing is a business disguised as a sport. And I think that marketing, you know, Terrence and Saul's name by themselves, they're just giant sized names. And they're going to move the needle regardless whether I think that this fight is on the up and up, competitive or fair. I don't think Terrence, they want everybody to ignore the fact that he's jumping up 2 weight divisions and they're stacking the deck, and that Saul just announced that I'll take the fight if I don't have to agree to a rehydration clause or anything like that. I could just blow up after the fight, so he could be just that much bigger than Terrence Crawford.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's up to Terrence Crawford, but I think that in this sport, everybody's always trying to get one up on us. You know, you know.
Nah, man,
Eh,
we seen it before though. We seen Roberto Duran do some stuff like this.
oh yeah,
I always thought Tank was gonna be our Roberto Duran, to be honest. But Terrence Crawford is showing us he got the cojones, man. He doing it. He's gonna do it, man. He's doing it.
I gotta admit, Ryan, if he pulls this off, he's got to go down as one of the greatest fighters
I
to
think
ever
that's the
live.
only reason why he's doing it. He wants to test greatness, man.
That's
We,
that's a remarkable, not 1 weight division, but 2 weight divisions, and you fought a guy legitimately ranked on ESPN's pound for pound,
yeah,
and you're fighting a Hall of Famer.
yeah, future Hall of Famer for sure. Yep,
Yeah,
Canelo
yeah,
Alvarez
you
might be the
know.
best Mexican fighter ever. Might be.
Well,
I say it might be, man, because I know Julio Cesar Chavez is beloved. Salvador Sanchez is definitely
they
also one of them.
they don't agree with your take of
yeah, I see it. I see it. You don't agree with my take because most people that you see, there's levels to sports, and they might not agree to that because they've never sat back and figured something like that out. There are certain people in sports that you get invited to that room and you do represent them. The Puerto Ricans have had their celebrities in baseball, football, whatever. And if you ever get to that kind of plateau, sometimes these people that they can really control your career. You might want to do certain things or dare to be great, and they're saying that's too risky. We need you to stay a winner, and that's part of your success is winning. And you might be thinking as a fan buying a ticket, I just want to see the best fighting the best, and I get it. But if you've never seen an athlete like that, well, you wouldn't understand what I just said. So that's why I wouldn't even answer his thing because I can respect it as him actually, not being aware of that. So I'm not gonna
Mm.
call him and say that, that he's foolish and doesn't know what he's no, because he's probably never experienced something like that or seen something. Michael Jordan was picked by the people. They backed him. Wherever he went, functions, all the things and all the black excellence and powerful people, they were in dining rooms with him for a reason, showing up at basketball games, don't even know what a free throw line is. Ask him, what's a free throw line? I don't know. But it's because you're in the audience showing strength. And that's a beautiful thing. Ireland had Conor McGregor. He didn't want to be nobody's freaking role model. Conor McGregor was giving everybody the bird doing lines, but they try to back him until he got out of control.
Yeah,
Same
but
shit,
even
bro.
a guy like Spence, man, like I respect that dude so much because he went against the grain. He went against Al's wishes and said,
Right,
"I want Crawford." Like that was
right,
him, and he even
right,
came and he was gonna come back against Fedora. Like that
right.
dude's just built different
Yeah,
altogether. Like
you know,
surviving a car crash, he should have never survived. Like that
it's
guy's
crazy.
just he's a monster, man. They don't make him like Spence no more. That's for sure.
Yeah,
That mentality.
I am excited to see Keith one time Thurman back.
Oh
nah,
shoot.
What?
nah. What
Yo,
did he
he
fight
has
one
some
time in
energy.
7 years or
Been
something?
three
I might be a
three
little
years.
off
It's
there,
been three
but
years. It's been 3 years.
Yo, he looked refreshed though. He looked like he's had some time off, which is
yeah,
maybe a
he
good
looks like
thing.
he's broke.
Hey, you know why? You know why? You know why I want to see him? I want to see him because who knows? In a possibility, it could have at 154 a fight between him and Errol Spence. They never had it in 147. You know
That's
what I mean?
true. Yep, you're right, man. I would
Like,
love to see that.
yeah, come on, man, for real. People forget about Keith
Yeah,
Thurman. He was a world champion at
yeah,
147.
he was.
He
He
beat
was a,
Porter.
yeah, but
He beat Danny Garcia.
I think
Yep.
this is Carlos. Carlos, I think this is gonna be another case where we're remembering the fighter for who he once was. You know what I'm saying? Rather than who he is now. You take that much time, 3 years like that, and before the 3 years, remember you only had one fight,
Yeah,
and then it was
prior.
like another two,
Yeah.
3 year gap, something like that, and then it was like one more fight,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. A lot of injuries and
Yeah, I get your point. I'm just saying, like, you
I'm
know,
just,
Keith
I mean, I don't
Keith
want to see him get hurt. I don't. Sometimes Keith
the
Thurman
guy
says
that
some
he's
crazy
fighting,
things.
the guy that he's fighting is from Australia, and he got knocked out by Leon Paro. So that's not a dangerous fight.
nah, yeah, this is like a soft touch for sure.
Gradually, warming up the gloves.
Yeah. Maybe he's trying to get a Tim Zoo fight because in
Yeah, I
Australia.
think
Okay, so what you're saying, Brock Jarvis lost to Liam Paro, which yeah, I'm starting. Okay, all right, but let's be realistic. Okay, at least Brock Jarvis is an active fighter. Okay, he's an active fighter, and I can honestly say that. Okay, um, what was his the last fight was Mario Barrio 2022, right? The fight
Yes.
before that, the fight before that
Pacquiao.
was 2019, Manny Pacquiao, and the
Yeah.
fight before that was Lopez 2019. From
Yeah.
2019, he fought Danny Garcia in 2017. So from 2017, 2 years, 2019, that's 2 year gap. Then he fought in that year twice. He fought on 2019 on the 1st and 2019 on the 7th. So, and then his gap he has right now is 2022, 19, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's 1, 2, 3 years. And then from 2022, he's got 3 fights in 7 years.
Probably.
and that injury. If I'll take a healthy Keith Thurman over the dude that he's fighting right now. That's how I'm seeing it. If he's healthy,
Really? You're going to go with one time Keith Thurman. You don't think Ring Rust is going to show its ugly face?
no, it can happen. But now you're are you saying that the Australian dude is gonna upset Keith?
Hold up. Let me look up this Australian dude, please.
I'm pretty sure he got
Hey,
stopped by Pyro.
he got stopped by Paro, and that Australian dude, he was coming from all the way from 115, and he blew it up to all the way at 160.
Yeah, he's a
Okay.
small guy.
Okay. Okay, guys. Here we go, guys. Let me see. There he is.
Yeah. Brock
He's
Jarvis.
got one loss. He's got knocked out one time. He has 22 fights and 20 knockouts. He's 27 years of age. He has 23 bouts, 64 rounds, a 90% knockout ratio. He's 5'9". He has 68 in arm reach, right? Let's check him out. Let's go down a little bit because that's probably where he'll fight. Mark Liam Paro right here. He fought Liam
Oh,
Paro
first
for
round. First round KO. That's crazy.
first round KO. But the fight before that, he fought at 135. Fight before
Yeah.
that, he was at 130. So he made 2 jumps here too fast. Fought Liam Paro, he got dropped. Then he fought at 144. Then he fought 158, upwards of 158. Now he's jumping at one time Keith Thurman, and they're gonna have an imaginary weight, whatever weight.
Wow.
It's gonna be at 154.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Keith should stop this guy. Like his opposition is not very
Yeah,
great.
Keith faced the better competition, like for champions.
All right, hold on. Okay. Let's see what the bulk of one time Keith Thurman when he became one time Keith Thurman. He fought Sean Porter right here, Danny Garcia right here, Lopez, Manny Pacquiao, Mario Barrio, but that's not what that's some of what made him okay. I thought that was gonna say Bernard Hopkins. I was just like, what? I had to look at it again. Brandon. It was a bootleg version. He got some good names on his record, but this is what I'm mostly concerned about, guys, right here. And the amount of time. If we're counting from Danny Garcia, which is 2017, right there on the board. He had one fight in 2019, another fight in 2019, right there. That's two fights. There was a 2 year gap before he came back. He had the tune-up fight, then he fought Manny Pacquiao. From the Manny Pacquiao fight, 2019, he enters the ring 2022.
Yeah.
From the Mario Barrio fight, he didn't come back to the ring till now. 2022, we're in 2025.
Yeah, but
That's
he's not even getting in the ring with anybody who's like Mario Barrios. This guy's not no
right,
Barrios.
right.
Yeah, like I get your point. Um, just I just feel like Keith saw many styles and what
No,
has
let me
to.
say what you really feel, Carlos. You feel that Keith Thurman forgot more about boxing than this kid knows.
Uh,
Is
hey,
that
man,
what you feel? Do you
man,
feel that
Keith
he's
was.
that outclassed?
Hey, Keith was gonna fight with Tim Zoo until he pulled out, of course, with the bicep injury. But I just feel like anything can happen in boxing, of course. But yes, like Keith should have a master class with this dude.
Yo, right. Let me ask you, what do you think about these freaking made up fights with the Saudi prince coming up and saying that Rolly's gonna fight Ryan Garcia at a catch weight at 143,
Yeah.
and then he's gonna put the Devin Haney fight
At
at another
47.
catch weight. So them two, Ramirez and him, are gonna be fighting at a catch weight. And then he's talking about what was it? Tio, who's Tio fighting now? I mean,
I
he
think
threatened the entire boxing world, right?
Tio
He's
gonna fight
connected.
Hitchens.
No, I think Naoya Inoue next. Tio
Nah,
Naoya.
he said
Yo,
Hitchens,
Nah, nah.
and then Booth.
it's Richard Hitchison, and then
Yeah.
allegedly going up to fight Jerron Boots Ennis. Are you think they trying to cash out Tio or they what?
Nah, man. The horsemen are moving on from Tank. They waited too long. They're all moving up.
Yeah, I'm
They
sad about
moved
that.
up to 40. Now they're moving up to 47. This is, Devin, I think he should have been at 47. Like he's always shrunk down. Ryan Garcia never made 40, so he should have always been at 47 too. And then Tio's want to smoke both of them, so he's moving up with them. He's chasing them.
It's a good
Listen,
thing and a bad thing.
listen. I'm gonna tell you right now. Um, when you're in this sport in boxing, I understand that being a fan at one time of the boxer, you start talking with your heart because of your loyalty to what that fighter once represented for you, right? But I'm here to report boxing and I got to keep it funky. You can't have a 3 year layoff and expect to be that same guy that went in that ring and we saw you last. Your reflexes ain't going to be there. You're eye to eye. And since you can never duplicate fight night in sparring, I know that for a fact. You can't duplicate anything in sparring in fight night. Oh yeah, really? How are you going to duplicate the crowd, the smaller gloves, the no helmet, your parents or your wife and kids in the front row? How are you going to duplicate the suspense in sparring? How are you going to duplicate? So when you get into fight night, one time Keith Thurman can look a certain way in sparring. That's great. That's great. I know that for a fact. Those bright lights are bright for a reason. And although Keith Thurman's been under them, it's not about him being under the bright lights for his situation. And his situation is how is his body going to respond? and he's not getting any younger every day. He's not getting any younger. So, although I think that one time Keith Thurman is a very crafty fighter, and once upon a time, at least let me see one fight so that I have something to work off of. My best assessment on Keith Thurman, if I'm being honest, good luck, brother. That's the best you're gonna get out of me because I have nothing to report on you. You haven't given the
Yeah,
fans any fighting, and I got nothing to go off.
It's better this fight than going into a fight what Danny Garcia did with Lara.
that's true.
You know what I mean? You're fighting a dude that is basically a nobody, but Danny Garcia fought a world champion at a weight division that he's not supposed to be in at 160 and got
Right.
outclassed. So,
In a division he's never fought in, yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if we're playing it safe, this is a safe fight for Keith Thurman. That's my opinion. That's how I'm seeing it.
All right. You know, so it's possible that one time Keith Thurman still got enough fight in him to whoop this kind of dude's ass. Yeah, anything can happen. But when I saw Adrian Broner try to make his ring return and come back from an extensive layoff, you know, this man got beat up by freaking. Come on, man.
Yeah, but his Brock's not even Blair to Flair level. So
And
there's
you
that.
don't think?
Nah, man. His opposition is terrible.
Yeah.
He just fought a guy who was like 13-10. Like,
They're saying that the Inoue weigh-in is live right now.
No way. Are they?
Bang Bang is
Edwin, the Naoya Inoue live now. Well, you know what? I got it right here on I got a monitor right here. We'll just pop that bad boy. Yo, what do you think about that fight, Ryan?
who's that anyway?
Yeah.
I don't even know who he's fighting, man. I didn't
I,
even like the Sam Goodman fight, but I understand it. He got to defend his belts.
yeah.
I get it. I
Well,
don't know. I want to see him in a big fight, man. I want to see him either
well,
26 or Junto.
oh yeah, definitely. The giant fights. I thought you said you just want to see a big fight. You're talking about giant fights.
Well, we got Turkey Alice Shake here. Might as well make it big.
Yo, listen. So here it is, the weigh-in. It hasn't started on my end. It says notify me, top rank weighing in, and 8 hours ago, top rank released a video. Okay, so they're about to like start the weigh-in or whatever, and then they'll put it up. But anyway, check it out, right? If you think about Naoya Inoue's last 4 fights, he's only had 4 fights in 122, right? So technically, he fought 4 world champions. You see? Oh yeah, they already weighing in. The dude already weighed in. Well, he has the same outfit on. Anyway, right? So check it out, right? What was I saying? Lost my train of thought there.
Inoue fought four.
Doheny didn't have no belt.
Yeah.
What was I saying, Carlos?
You said that Inoue fought 4 champions.
Yes, 4 championships. And Doheny did have a belt.
Which belt
Doheny
did he
lost
have?
his. He had the belt at 120. What did Doheny?
Oh, nah, man. I'm talking about he didn't bring no belt to the fight.
No. But he was a former world champion. You get credit
Oh.
for beating a champion.
Yeah. It's like how
Nah, it's a little different though when you fighting a guy who's bringing something to the table. It's got more stakes to it.
Yeah, I know, but you still get credit as fighting a world champion. It goes down in the record books.
No doubt,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Right. So he fought 4 world champions. He only has 4 fights. Every guy he fought, Luis Pantera Nari was a world champion before.
Nari, yeah.
And TJ Doheny was a world champion before. And then the 2 guys he fought were unified champions. So, when you think about, at least he fought 4 type champions. It's not like he fought Frank the Ghost Martin. He never competed for a world title. It's not like he fought Ryan Garcia. He never competed for a world title or even had a world title.
Yeah, it's just quality of work.
Right. Yeah. At least the guys he were fighting were good enough to be a world champion at some point in their career before he came up to him. So you're going to get credit for that. So that's I mean, when I think about everybody else, who am I measuring them against? Well, I'm measuring them against the rest of the boxing world. What did the rest of the boxing world fighters do? Did anybody fight 4 world champions in their last 4 fights?
Well,
And unify.
Usyk went up and beat the guy.
Oh,
The
yeah,
guy, the guy Tim Bradley
yeah,
was saying was all-time heavyweight great.
yeah. I fucking hate arguing with heavyweights because by default, a heavyweight is the most prestigious belt in all of boxing. He's the king regardless. It's like if I can never like comfortably ever put Naoya Inoue in front of him because by that standard, I would be saying that what the heavyweight championship of the world can be over. Like no, it's the biggest belt. Like he's like king. So but as far as king and his style of how he's doing it up there, he's doing pretty good. He's doing pretty well. I think he's still got some things to prove. I think some people getting a little bit over, they're giving him too much of a title so far. You've only fought these many men and you fought this guy twice and you fought this guy twice. And no matter if you fought them twice, there's still just one guy. So I just think that, before you start putting them against like guys that got 18 world title defenses, Muhammad Ali got 18 world heavyweight title defenses. So before you start calling Usyk the greatest heavyweight championship of the world with 3 title defenses, you're like,
Yeah, it's a bit premature.
yeah, it's a bit premature, So I know that he has the ability, but let's just see if he does it. He keeps winning the way he's winning, and if he unifies, check this out. Sometimes things can happen to you in life. You might think, man, that's unfortunate. You might be like, I'm fucking cursed. It could actually be a blessing in disguise. By them stripping him of that IBF title, shooting what Dubois is doing, he's doing his part. He's building that fight. The Dubois Usyk Part 2 fight is going to be that much bigger. And if Usyk pulls that off, you know what they're going to have to count that for? Unifying twice in the heavyweight division, undisputed status, undisputed, all 4 belts twice.
Yep.
You're going to have to give him that. So although it might have looked like a fucked up situation and being, they stripped me for my belt, bro, that can be legacy argument stuff.
Right.
Those kind of awards that you can argue I'm the best now. Who the hell unified twice?
Yeah.
As a heavyweight. True. You feel me? So you start going down a path and you build on that. Evander Holyfield was the heavyweight champion 3 times. Right? He lost the belt. He's the greatest heavyweight champion, I think, that had the regained the heavyweight champion the most in history. He got it 3 times. But if Usyk can be like 3 times unified undisputed champion, that trashes that. So
yeah.
I mean, but Usyk doesn't have to lose the belt after that because what backs Usyk up is that he unified at cruiserweight. That will take the. You see,
he's already 2-time undisputed.
Yeah. Right. You're gonna put that kind of accolade, because not all boxers have the same accolades, but they will put them. Terrence Crawford, what he's gonna try to do, he's gonna try to put that 2 division against Floyd's championship accolades. The amount of champions that Floyd fought. Because Floyd has 5 divisions and Terrence only has 4. You're usually based and rated on how many divisions were you able to conquer. As a king, did you travel out and conquer land? What did you do? Floyd Mayweather went up 5 weight divisions. Oscar De La Hoya went up 6. Manny Pacquiao went up 6. Miguel Cotto went up 4. There have been fighters that have done such. There are fighters in history that had ridiculous amount of title defenses in one division. 17 world title defenses. He won them all by knockout. Wilfredo. There's just but that's one division. So when people retire, they kind of take these accolades and put them against their legends, and that's when you like, But I believe if you're gonna be considered the GOAT, there has to be a standard. There's qualifications you have to meet first. Once you meet them, then you're entered into the conversation. Then they should put you up against the other goats, to see like that.
Yeah.
That's how I do it in my head anyway. Because you got to meet the requirements first. I'm not. Don't even waste my time in the conversation because X, Y, and Z. Like people like um Lewis, the heavyweight champion. He meets the requirements as GOAT conversation. He checks out all the boxes. He got all the legends on his thing, and he won. It says W, right? I don't give a fuck what it says. It says W. He meets the requirement. He should be talked about as one of the greatest heavyweights to ever go down in history.
I think most people do agree he is.
So like
Lewis.
Yeah, but I mean, this is so many guys.
Yeah, I think we're talking about certain records and other people break certain records. For example, I wanted to say that Canelo Alvarez has the most defenses of the 4-belt era. 4.
Yeah.
And the one that is second is going for his third is Inoue.
Yep.
Inoue could break that record.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah.
Now that Canelo actually got stripped for the IBF, and the Berlanga fight didn't actually count for so he missed out on that one, which he could have. It looked like he was gonna, successful. So now, what does Naoya Inoue decide to do after this fight? Does he stay in the division? Does he try to beat that record? Does he try to tie it at least? I know that Naoya Inoue is a numbers guy. He has some amazing records right now, continuously. With every time he fights a world title fight or puts his belts up, that'll be a consecutive world title fight. He's on his 24th consecutive world title fight in a row, venturing out through multiple divisions. So I think it's really unique what he's doing. I think that he'll really get his star status once he enters one of the glamour divisions. Sometimes, depending on the athlete, he has the ability to stretch out the glamour division, meaning the glamour divisions start at 130, 135, 140, 147, and sometimes 154 in the heavyweight division. Those are the glamour divisions in boxing. The most viewed, the most watched in all of boxing are those divisions. But if Naoya Inoue gets to 126, he's going to turn the 126 into the new 130. He's close enough. He can pull the needle.
Yeah.
And then people are going to start.
Names.
Yeah, he's going to have big enough names. He's going to have big enough opportunities, and he's going to have big enough time to go out there like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blair is a good fighter.
I mean, he's all right.
He's definitely a kind of like he has a personality about him that we do need in boxing. I like his personality. He's trying to get his. You can't be mad at him for that, right?
I give him this. He gives all 100% effort. You know what I mean? You can't blame him on that.
Yeah.
Nah, he's good for boxing, man. Makes it entertaining.
I mean, he knocked out AB's too.
Yeah, he beat up Adrian Broner.
They're gonna want to get back, and they're gonna have to send out one of these boys. Hey, here's a little something I wanted to talk with somebody too. Ryan and Carlos, check it out, right? Do you think that was alarming how Cormiel Moulton came in that heavy in his last fight?
It sounded like there was a lot of miscommunication, man. They said he lost his blood work. He wasn't going to fight. So I feel like he thought he wasn't going to fight. So why make weight? Like, why drain? Why drain myself?
Wasn't that the week of Thanksgiving?
It was too. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah.
I think I'll give him a pass.
No, 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 no. I've given guys a pass on 4 pounds, 3 pounds,
No, he
and
came up.
shit, even 6 pounds. Okay. I don't remember me ever saying I'll give you a pass on 35 pounds.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
came.
I don't know what his contract. His contract must have said something about he has to get on the weight on the scale because like if you have no blood work, bro, you can't fight. You can't fight. So why are we even weighing in? Like,
Right. Well, there's those two weights, which we don't really talk about in the sport of boxing, right? And that's leading into the fight. You have to be a certain weight 14 days out from the fight, 21 days out from the fight. You got to get on the scale and provide them back with proof that you're making that weight or whatever, right? And that you're on course so that the event can, if anything, if you can't make the weight, they're going to have to pull somebody out and make a replacement. So that's why in the contract you have to make these certain kinds of weight. There's actually three weights in boxing, but they only talk about one, the one that counts on fight night, because those other ones don't really, you know what I mean?
yeah, and only when you're dealing with certain fights that happens,
Right.
like not Carmel Moulton's stage where he's at. He's not dealing with that.
He's not
They
dealing with that
because
now.
if he
Right.
comes in heavy, they
Right.
just readjust the contract. They just readjust the
Right.
numbers
Right.
and pay the
There's
other
not
guy
a
a little
lot
bit
at
more.
stake.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that was kind of alarming, 35 pounds, and I just wanted to take more on the situation and ask you because, in fact, you alerted me to more of the situation. I
Is
didn't
that
know
what he weighed
much
in at?
about it.
35?
Huh?
That's what he weighed in at, 135?
No, he came in
Oh, 30
35 pounds
over.
over the weight limit.
I was gonna say
So,
he fights at 130, so
no, he came in 35 pounds over whatever the fight they scheduled it at. Yeah, and
right.
I had to like Google that shit 10 times to make sure that everybody was saying it was actually 35 pounds because I couldn't find that. Who the fucks up that bad?
Yeah, yeah.
I was just like, so I didn't really have time to like chase that story down. I didn't have a lot of information. Floyd's gonna back him up. He's gonna cut a lot of stuff out. They're gonna try to kind of like, quiet this down, and they did. They did a great job. It was hard to find a couple things out that I really wanted to know. So if you found out anything, that's why I asked you about it. And what you and now you're telling me about the blood work, him losing it. Not, maybe it was a case where
Yeah.
he didn't even think he had a fight.
Yeah, I
And
don't
that's
even know if
how
that's true. It could be they could be just saying blood work just because you need that
right.
for a fight.
And then there's a part of me that says maybe you're hanging out with Floyd a little too much,
He's
you
a
know?
kid, man. He ain't hanging out with Floyd.
Yeah. What listen, if you take a kid and you bring him around all these whorehouses and up in five-star hotels he's never been in, and big bro Floyd is like flipping the bill and you want to be with him every day, and then Floyd's like, kid, go back to the gym, you got to turn back into a pumpkin. Like, there was no way you can afford to walk in anywhere you walked in without Floyd.
Mm.
You
Yeah,
feel me?
Floyd. I think Floyd's like, I don't know. He looks like he's in grandpa stage, and I like it, man. I like what he's doing with his
Yeah.
grandson,
He's
and
got
he's enjoying
he's
life now.
yeah, he's got something to live for. That little kid, he sees himself in it. But I remember like uh being like the first time I really like got some money and me and my boys thought it would be funny to rent out a limo and go to some casino somewhere, Foxwoods or Atlanta City and shit. And we ended up in these places. And I knew when I got into the place that I was out of my league. I had never seen anything like this. I never seen the service the way these guys were doing it. I was mostly faking, watching other people do shit and following suit because I had never experienced anything like that. So I was young when I experienced shit like that, and I can know how that can be overwhelming and distracting to a person. I wanted to go back the next day. I just didn't have the type of money to continue doing that every day. And when I heard that about Camille and shit, I was just like, yeah, let me, because it seems like Mayweather's fucking cloning these kids over there. He's got them all looking like Gervonta Tank Davis. It's like he, one more. The next one looks like Camille, and the third one looks like him. Is it me or am I lying?
Yeah,
Come
he's
on,
got two
Ryan,
of them.
tell
He's
the
got two
truth.
of them. He's got two of them over there that look like
They look
Tank.
identical. No, you should see the third one. He does looks like them too. Oh my god, I'm just like, because Tank, Camille, and that dude, they all look the same, and I'm
Mhm.
just like, he's just making these guys, and they're all good. Ironically, they're all freaking good. They can all fight. So I don't know where he gets them from, but man, that's incredible. But anyway, it's just like, it's the truth is truth. And anybody would like to fight for the legendary Floyd. And if your son was good, you would bring him to Floyd. It
Yeah,
just so happens they kind of favor each other, and that's ironic. You know what I mean? But that's all coincidence, bro. Obviously these kids grew up somewhere fighting, and their parents got them to there, and but it was a little bit alarming. So I just wanted to take your take on that real quick. David the Monster Benavides and David Morale. Do you see an upset, or do you see who winning? Who do you got in that fight?
I got Benavidez, but I think Morel could show us something, man. I think he can level up. He's got Ronnie Shields, so that's a good coach over there, man. But like
Oh,
Morel, I think it's just too early. He's been
really?
Yeah,
chasing down David. I
I
think he,
agree.
I think he needs a few more fights. Like he beat Hot Rod, but he didn't look dominant in the Hot Rod fight. Like
Yeah.
he didn't look like David's fight was better at 35 or sorry at 75, his debut, and he fought a champ, a former champ.
Uh-huh.
Hot Rod never won no belt, like respectfully.
He got
But
stopped by Better Beef. They
yeah,
both got.
they both did. But Hot Rod never been on that level where Vozdek was that guy. He wanna he beat my guy Stevenson, almost killed him, man.
Yeah.
So Benavidez got the better win. But I just think it's too early for Morel, and Benavidez knows that. Morel's name is in demand. Take him down now before he get good, man.
Hmm.
But Morel will be back. He'll be back.
I like Morale. I like his confidence coming into this fight. When you're an undefeated fighter, you don't know how to lose. You got this. You fight with this kind of intensity, rather than being a guy that's already been beating, I mean, have lost before. So I think that both men, they're kind of mirror images of themselves. If you were to ask me, I think that David Morale has the better footwork out of the two, and he has the better torso. I think his mobility and moving like this is better than David the Monster Benavides.
Mhm.
Now, the only thing that I can't judge is that, yeah, both look good throwing punches against those level of competitions that stand in front of you. Those kind of men that allowed you to, and I know that David the Monster Benavides has a hard punch. He slowly broke down Caleb Plant. I've seen him one punch somebody. I've seen David Morale punch one punch with somebody. I think
Yeah.
both men really have the power to hurt each other. I think they're both in the same spot in their career when it comes to the weight division, though. Maybe not in competition, but they both only have one fight at 175. So in that part, we're even. We're even there. Okay. Um, it's a scary fight, and it's truly a 50-50 fight. And my pick seems to flop every day. I got to be honest with you. I just think that
Yeah.
David Morale has the experience, but I love the explosiveness that is David Morale, explosiveness rather than David the Monster Benavides being very explosive and a more bludgeon of a fighter. I think he's going to try to 1-2 step his way in. David Morale's going to circle out, try to work off the jab and create situations. But for how long can he keep that up for? And that'll be the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyoto says that Inoue is looking super bad at the weigh-in. Dude may not even be able to make 122 as long as he wants.
He just weighed in at 121 and 3/4.
I think.
And the other guy just made weight at 121 3/4. Everybody just finished weighing in. I watched it while we were talking.
Does he look
And
good? Does he look like great?
He looked real skinny. His
yeah.
cheekbones look high. But it's not. It was never what he looked like for me when law cut the weight. It was how he rehydrated. Is he 2 pounds heavier in this fight than he was the last fight coming into this fight? And is he making any efforts going towards going up? In his last 3 fights, he's gone up 2 pounds every fight, if you haven't noticed. After the fight, they release his weight of the night of the fight. Every fight, he's been 2 pounds up. I just want to see if he maintains that.
Word. And one more thing about Benavidez, man, he's a big fighter. You know, Demetrius Andre said he rehydrates huge, and I think that's why Canelo never wanted to fight him. It's because the rehydration. Now at a new weight, he's acclimated now. So David Morrell's probably never been in the ring with somebody as big as Benavidez either. So
Right.
that might play.
I could say vice versa. I feel like both those guys look identical in the sense of their height and build. Uh, uh, what I'm trying to say is that when they're at 175, they haven't finished their opponents how they're finishing their opponents at 168.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
competition is bigger now. You know what I mean? So it's like uh, you fought smaller guys, you're able to get them out. But now at 175, there's more guys that can take more punishment.
Yep. That's true.
I look, I like a lot of these fights that were announced. I just, until the day that these guys are walking down the thing, I've had it with Tio. I think that they've put Tio's name with every fighter and freaking that they could. I no longer believe it. I thought that Tio was going to show us that Puerto Ricans were easy and that if you put them in front of me, I'll beat them. For a cool $3 million, well, you could have just got one of the biggest paydays, but it seems like you haven't. And attached to Jerron Boots and his Terrence Crawford, and the list goes on. So I really don't know what Teal's going to do. But I kind of thought that he would really take this fight with Africa, Richard Hitchison. But now that's another case where that, okay, would Richard Hitchison take this fight? You know, I'm not so sure. I mean, you saw what happened to Liam Paro. He had the belt for what, 2 months, 3 months. How long did he have the belt for? From when he beat Subriel in Puerto Rico in June.
Yeah,
It was about more than 2 months though. It
It
was a
felt like
couple
two
because
months.
he almost fought Haney. Like Haney was gonna fight him.
Yeah, I know he didn't have it for that long though. Sometimes you want to try to have the belt for a little bit. Ken Norton, Brian Norman Jr. got himself out of that little situation he had with Jerron Boots Ennis. And because I was like, damn, you just won the belt and you're gonna go right into a unification. Like, at least have that one fight and defend it. Seal the deal as a champion. You won the belt, defended the belt. You're an official champion. Let's get that part out of the way. Then let's try to unify, or at least get a little better too. But yeah,
well,
yeah, man. I think that Jerron Boots Ennis, uh, he's got a little bit of work to do, and where he goes to, I'm interested in a lot of these fights, man.
yeah.
2025 is going to kick off with a big bang right now with the two Davids. With a real David, please stand up. We're about to find out. You know what's he saying down here? Naoya looks like super bad at that. Oh yeah, here I already read that. Okay.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look at him again. I was talking with you guys, and I was just like glimpsing, like watching him. He
I
looked
haven't
real
seen.
cut.
Can't say much about it.
Yeah, they were showing when we put it on, he had already made the weight, and they were showing like clips of him. Then when I saw the back of the dude, his of opponent getting off the scale, and that's when I got on. So yeah, I'm just gonna go back and watch it again too myself. So
Do you believe that Haney, Tio, of course Ryan, are struggling to make 140? And they're just want to go to 147, and rightfully so, because 147 is low key a wasteland. There's not a lot of stars at 147. Yes, you have Bus Ennis, Staniotis, Mario Barrios, and
Brian
now
Norman Jr.
Brian Norman. But they don't have the star power as a Ryan and Haney or Tio, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think Haney and Ryan need to move there because they are the bigger guys. Like Haney always shrinks down. Like he's been shrinking down.
Yeah,
Ryan's never made 140. So we know he needs to be there. But like Tio, I think Tio could stay at 140 if he wanted to. He looks smaller in stature than the other two.
yeah,
So I think he could probably make it. It's just I don't know, man. I think he wants either Tank, he wants money fights. So he wants Tank, Haney, or Ryan. He's probably thinking I can't get Tank, but Haney and Ryan, they like to mix it up. So I can probably get those two guys in the ring with me and make money because he's always talking about money. He's the biggest star on Top Rank. He brings all the sponsorship deals, and then he's crying about his fights. I don't make $1 million. So it's like, bro, what are you
yes,
talking about, man?
yeah. He
Well,
shoots
as far as your question about these guys not really fighting at 147 and fighting in this catch weight 143, and I talked about that in the first half of this video, and where's boxing going from this and enabling these guys to fight in these made up divisions that there's no belts in. The benefit of fighting at 147 is that you actually can fight for a belt, maybe put yourself in line to be the next man up for a belt. But at 143, that's basically a wasted fight. It's not a division that your career is put up in a ranking against. It's a pretty much wasted fight. So the reason why these guys, I believe anyway, don't go up to 147 because you said yourself, there's not a lot of superstars. So wouldn't you think that there would be opportunity there? Wouldn't there be opportunity for new superstars if it was as easy as it was to walk in there and take them belts from these men? Yeah, these guys might not have the star status, but I don't think these guys are just quite big enough to beat these guys that are cutting weight to make 147 when these guys are moving up in weight. I
yeah,
think the
definitely.
guys at I think the guys at 147 are slightly bigger than the Devin Haney's and the Ryan Garcias.
But
Ryan
they're
Garcia
still
and Devin, yeah, they're still looking big because they're fighting at 143. You know, tack on the 4 pounds to make weight and the 15 extra pounds you rehydrate with. Now we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
You
Nah,
see,
they're gonna get acclimated. That's what it is.
right. And I suggest that they do because, for as much as Devin Haney was punching Ryan Garcia in the back of the side when Ryan would go into that shell, um, he
I don't even
really
know what
didn't
that
ha-
was.
he didn't really have the power to hurt him. It looked like little brother punching big brother in the back and mom yelling across the room, "Don't you hit him." So you give him your back. Because you don't want to hit your little brother, and he's punching you in your back and he ain't really hurting you. You know
I'm
what I'm
strong.
saying?
I'm
You
strong. I'm
know?
strong.
Yeah. Like, and mom's like, "Don't you hit him," and you can't hit your little brother. That's what it looked like. Hey, he didn't just have enough pot. So, okay, he couldn't do that allegedly at 143. You're going to convince me that Devin Haney's going to have what kind of pop at 147? Sometimes I got to back up and remember that fuck, Devin Haney's only like all of 25 years old. He's still a spring chicken. Like he hasn't even really got his last man strength yet. So that could kick in at any point. So I'm kind of waiting for that too. I gotta remind myself about Devin because I kind of forget how young he is. You
Yeah,
know,
he is young.
yeah, he's extremely young, so he actually does have the capability actually getting stronger at 147. In fact, so yeah, he's a rare case where that because I'm also thinking he's been in boxing for a long time already.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
know,
he is, man.
I'm kind of he's a undisputed. He's done some shit, so it kind of gives you like, you if you're thinking about a fighter like that, he just doesn't get better, faster, stronger the older he gets. But Ryan Garcia, I mean Devin Haney's actually young as fuck, man. So and he did all this stuff, so yeah, I could see that, you know. But Yeah, man. I can't wait for this fight, man.
What
Go ahead,
what's your
Carlos.
take? What's your take on now confirmed? Those three world title fights and the Tank card. We're having, of course, Tank and Lamont Roach. We're having now Sander Martin versus Alberto Puello for the WBC world title belt, and now
Jose.
and Rayo versus Gary Antoine Russell for the WBA world title 140 belt.
Yeah, I
So those are
mean, shout out
those
to
three.
Sandor Martin, man. He's been waiting for his shot for like years. So
Yeah,
he
take it.
finally got it.
Yeah.
So I hope he can win. Pollo's a good fighter though. I mean
How
him
much
and
how much step aside money that Sandor Martin received?
I hope it's good money. I hope it was worth the wait.
Yeah.
That's what I heard it was. Hopefully he's getting paid well in this fight. But yeah, I think Pollo's a good fighter. I think him and Russell had a good fight. But I just don't know, man. Sandor Martin, he's a tricky guy. You know, he gave Tio a lot of troubles in their fight. I just
Yeah.
think with Sandor, he hasn't been in the ring for much. Like, I don't know when his last fight was. So ring rust might be an issue for him. I think Ryo should beat Russell. It won't be easy, but I think
Oh, okay.
Ryo has I think he has the boxing skills. Robert Garcia, trainer of the year. You got him in the corner, so I think Robert Garcia can make a plan for Ryo to stay away from that little bulldog Russell. And
If
Tank gonna win. Tank gonna win.
yeah, if Ryo beats Antoine Russell, man, I will be really surprised just because how much he has improved since losing to Edwin de los Santos.
Yep. Yeah. He's looked good.
Yeah.
Confidence, man. Confidence. Like Chris Colbert, that first fight, I thought he won, even though he lost
Yes.
the back half of the second fight or his first fight. I thought he won, but the second fight, he did what he's supposed to do, just knocked him out, man.
I think him changing trainers from Benavidez' dad to Robert Garcia helped him a lot because it improved his boxing skills and defense.
Yeah, Pitbull Cruz, man, that's not an easy fight. Jeez. So shout out to him for taking care of Pitbull Cruz,
Yep.
taking that belt away from Cruz, and now I think that's who Tank's gonna fight, man. I think Tank's gonna call out Ryo if Ryo wins.
Ooh, man. I wanted that fight, man. I wanted that fight over Lamont Roach for real.
Yeah, that would have been a better fight, but I understood where Ryo was coming from. Like he had a couple camps because he was supposed to fight against Dallas Santos in a rematch on the Tank and Frank undercard, but then you get the call from Turk, so you fighting for a title, you gotta take it, man. So I totally understand. He had like two camps before he even fought Pitbull, so obviously you go in that match. Pitbull's no easy fighter. You want a break, man. Tank wants to fight in November. Forget that, bro. I'm resting. I got my belt. We'll see you in the new year. Like that's your problem, Tank. Lomachenko said the money wasn't right. That's what he said, but I don't know.
Man, listen. I think that fight with Sandor Martin, I got Puello, man, in that fight.
Yeah,
The
he's a tall
job,
fighter.
the job that he did to Gary Antoine Russell, bro, that was a boxing lesson. He he truly was one step ahead of him the whole night.
Yep.
He
Yep.
outsmarted him. He taught him what the jab, what it looks like to throw a jab and a slick, tight combination. Russell tried to overwhelm him with his brute strength and his forward aggression, like typically he does. He does know how to put his punches together well, but I noticed that the Russell has to be planted. He's not a mobile fighter. Puello knew how to work around his combinations and he just picked him apart. That was truly a boxing lesson. That's what I saw. I think when Sandor Martin fought Tio, um, I wanna bring up one point with you guys on this with Tio. And these are the kind of ways that I think and the kind of views that I see and I bring here because I want you guys to be honest with yourselves and I want you to guys recognize that whether you realize this or not, you guys do realize that Tio beat Lomachenko without a head coach, right?
So his
Teal's
dad
dad,
was the coach. Yeah, his
Teal's
dad's been his
dad,
coach forever.
Teal's dad coached him, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Teal's dad is not a boxing coach. He was never an amateur boxing coach, and he's definitely not a pro boxing coach. You got to be honest. He really did that. He really beat Lomachenko without a head coach.
Well, we don't know
Teal
who's in
got,
the camp though, because like Tio's also another dude. He's an Olympian, Tio. So
yeah,
he's been around real gyms.
yeah. He's barred a lot of guys and everything. But I got to be honest, like he got this far. Now that he's getting the assistance of Eddie Reynoso, and it goes to show he's bringing his dad with him. He's basically saying, Dad, you took me as far as you can take me, and I think I was with you a lot longer than I should have been because Teal's never had a world class coach. He's
Yeah,
actually did all this shit, basically boxing out of a freaking garage,
Mm-hmm.
just
yeah,
like Fondora's father and Fondora and sister. So he never really was tied to any real like Roach as a coach, head coach like Manny Pacquiao. He didn't have none of those worldwide coaches, man. And Teal did all that. Teal is crafty. He's gifted. He's a gifted fighter. He's in there fighting on pure God-given talent. If you were to coach that man, I saw that a long time ago. And the shit he was doing to Sandor Martin, bro, that slick little move, he punched the bicep, move like that, and dropped Sandor Martin. I was like, that was some crafty shit right there. And
yeah.
you're doing that without world-class coaching? You're doing all this shit. I mean, your father might know a thing or two, but he's no coach. Your son had good success, and I'll give you the respect as a coach as far as what you know. And my man, and so now he's getting coaching from everyone else. And I think that Tio, he might have, and Tio's fairly young too. He's not all that old. I think he's gonna make another
Yeah.
run for it, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, him
With
and
some
Haney
real
is same
world
age,
class
I think.
coaching.
Nah, I hope so, man. But the question is he coachable? Eddie Reynoso's he's a no nonsense guy. He kicked Ryan out the camp.
Yeah.
So if he feels like you're not there with it, he'll just get rid of you.
Yep.
And not only that, you have to listen to Eddie Reynoso at the time of the boxing match. Listen to his instructions. For
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
example,
can't have two guys yelling at you. Yeah.
because I remember Oscar Valdez losing to Emmanuel Navarrete, trying to fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
And you was not gonna beat him by that. So his Teofimo's trajectory is really high. I'm happy that he's gonna get trained by Eddie Reynoso. Because man, so much talent, but this roller coaster career, man, is you really can't have too much faith because one fight he looks great and another fight he looks mediocre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
gonna head on out, fellas, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm about to cut this short, man.
Yeah.
Ryan, please. Can you tell the people where they can find you?
Oh yeah, man. You can find me at Boxing Talk Up North. Yeah, I'm from Toronto, Canada. I love boxing, man. And sometimes I'm on the Boxing Voice with Nestor Gibbs. I'll be on there sometimes. But appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. Smash that like button for Edwin, man. He's always here every day with y'all, dropping that knowledge, man.
Thank you, man, for stopping by, Ryan, man. It's always been a pleasure. Thank you. And that's Boxing Talk Up North. You can find him on YouTube. Carlos, thank you for stopping by as well. Everybody that joined the live stream, thank you. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Please do me a favor. Please hit that like button. And like always, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk.